quite interesting, the numbers and everything. And I really appreciate it. You probably recall it, Percy, 3 years back, I believe, shortly after being elected, we went on tour how your grinder was working along with the other decision-making community leaders in the community. I was very impressed, and I've heard nothing but a lot of good stories from the power plant, from the management, from other people in the area. Keep up the good work. I really appreciate. And we really missed you last week in the Prince George BC Natural Resource Forum. And no, I don't see any issue. Before we go to any of the recommendation, any question, Councillor Nelson, then Councillor Sheila Bain, please.
Thank you very much, Your Worship, Daniel and Percy, Betty, and Darlene. Thank you very much. Percy, you know that I'm a huge supporter of the Central Cariboo Rehabilitation Organization. I think that you're truly a template that should be used across the province in other areas. When Daniel's talking about the stats of 160,000 cubic meters being utilized, and there's more fiber that's out there, that's what we need to do, is exactly what you're doing, is creating economic activity from essentially waste and creating economic opportunities. The 40 jobs that you talk about turns into close to 100 jobs by the time you extrapolate it right down the road. So I'll be supporting the recommendation, but just simply a huge acknowledgement for the work that you guys have done. And I think the opportunities for the future are huge if we continue to go along this road. Daniel did mention, and I made a note about the economic funding radius, that I recognize that sometimes we may be on just the outside of that, but we're a region as a whole. We're the Cariboo Chilcotin. And I recognize sometimes the provincial boundaries, when they're looking at funding opportunities, you sometimes have to look over those boundaries because that's in our area. There's only one road that goes out to that area, and it lands right back in Williams Lake. So I'll be supporting the recommendation. Just an acknowledgement of what you guys do and what you contribute, I think, is absolutely impressive to the region as a whole. So, Your Worship, I'll move the recommendation when we're done.
I will wait till let's finish
100%.
this, then I'll get you in there. Councillor Bain, please.
Thank you, Your Worship, and thanks, guys, for coming. I just want to also reiterate, I mean, this is so near and dear to all of us, but it makes me actually remember that we were going to do a resolution, Councillor Nelson, related to fiber being left out there from fires, just how much funding we're needing to get that in. And I feel like that's another way we can help, is try to get some, because this, I mean, has been brought up at Kofi, not just the resource forum, but I think every meeting I'm at is how difficult it gets to get permitting and to get, even if everybody's on board, everybody, the whole community, regional district, city, First Nation, and we still are fighting to get this fiber. It is, and I've actually argued it before, especially a burnt fiber that sometimes is only viable for so long. So I think this is one that I think we're going to have to refer to our resolution session. So I'd like to bring this up to be brought to as a resolution. So you do your wordsmithing, Councillor Nelson, but I feel like we need to bring up, there used to be more funding for bringing stuff in for that distance you're talking about. And I think we need to review how that's going. So I think just as a reminder to all of us that we need to get that in for before, I think it's, I should know this, March 8th or something, resolutions are due, but we'll try to get it in the next month, written up for you. Yeah, more support than just a letter. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Bain. Councillor Moses, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, first off, thank you to the two of you for coming in and presenting all this information to us and making sure that we're aware of the importance of the work that you're doing. The mayor and I were fortunate enough to be able to see the local opening for the BC is Burning documentary that, at least, I don't know if both of you were featured in it, but definitely Percy is. I remember that. Where the documentary really showed the importance of the work that you and your teams are accomplishing in our region. So it's really easy to see the strengths of the projects like this from CCR and what it does for our local economy and for job creation. So I just want to thank CCR and the 3 communities that are involved in this, because it's plain to see that it makes our region that much stronger. So channel, yeah.
Councillor Flaspohler, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, just echoing my colleagues. Thank you so much for the presentation. You know, we as a region and as a municipality have all been directly affected by such a severe wildfire, and we've had to, manage and survive through all of that. Everything that you're doing now is taking a bit of a positive lean towards that event. And it's really so beneficial for not only everything you're doing, the region out there for TNG and all the individuals that are employed, but it's also so beneficial for our community and our municipality economically because you are supporting, the economics of our communities. So absolutely, I think it's really critical for us to understand what you're doing and understand when you're having those challenges because when we support you, we're supporting this municipality. So thanks so much.
Should, want to add something or should we wait for the,
I just had a question for Daniel.
okay, go ahead, please.
Daniel, I was reminded over the weekend that out west, and correct me if this is correct, it's a good time to ask it, the fur beetle,
Fur beetle, yeah.
is it
It's
gone crazy out there?
No, well, it did back and started going crazy 2019, 2020, and 2021. And then it's actually, the trend is actually going down. We're seeing less and less of it, which is really good because
Yes.
the fire kind of fed the beetles
Yeah.
and then they start to swarm. But now we're seeing a positive trend from a fur beetle perspective. It's really good. It's good to see that, at least, yeah, one good.
Okay, good. Thank you.
We're doing all the natural disasters we're facing.
Great work you guys do. Thank you. Thank you, Worship.
Like I said, thank you very much, both of you. Get the resolution, please.
The recommendation that the presentation of Central Cariboo Rehabilitation Limited regarding an update on the CCR Palmer project be received for information, and further that pursuant to their letter dated January 20th, 2026, Council provide letters of support to the Provincial Ministry of Forests and Federal Natural Resources Canada, sharing how CCR's work benefits the Cariboo Chilcotin, and requesting both levels of government continue funding CCR projects like the Palmer project, as they are critical for wildfire risk mitigation and fiber utilization.
Moved by Councillor Nelson, seconded by Councillor Flaspohler. Any discussion? Okay,
Just
go ahead,
one
please.
quick question to Percy. Percy, do we need to add anything in that recommendation, or Daniel, with regards to the economic funding with the radius issue?
Yeah, I think we should be okay. I think it's just, yeah, I don't think you need to add anything.
Okay. Okay.
I think looks good. The recommendation looks good. Just for your information, when we went to see the BC burning, I was so shocked what I saw, along with Councillor Moses and other. I think I spoke that day too in the theater. And when we went to UBCM last year, September, every minister I met along with the council, I recommended everybody. And that's the reason everybody was wondering about you, Percy, last week, and that was well done. And I wanted to recognize the tobacco industry. They brought their movie to show anybody and everybody who could make a difference on the decision making. And what I saw was excellent work. How Percy's grinder and one-person operation, how they was working, trucks are coming, how cherry picker and the grinders working together. A good job, buddy. In reference to the supporting the letter, I think it's a much cheaper for the government to provide you some funding, some subsidy to bring those logs in, because when that fiber is sitting in the forest and they caught on fire, whatever the reason, by Mother Nature or whatever, and it costs us a lot more. And it hurts. It may provide some job, but your project not only provide the economics to the community time to time, it provides jobs and everything and whatnot. We saw that how this council work almost year and 2 years along with the other organization, the community such as Chamber, how much we have to levy to the provincial government for all the issues that our power plant was facing. And I can't say thank you enough to you, Chamber of Commerce and BIA, and everybody involved, and council and staff. We finally managed to win that case to the provincial government. And it's nothing but win-win situation. I don't see, at least I can't read anybody not supporting your letter. I'll call the question, please. All in favor? Opposed, if any, unanimously carried. Thank you, sir. Good luck. And I got your number, Percy, and I'll give it to staff, and they'll get hold of you once the letter's done, okay? Thank you. Yeah, no problem, Art.
Thanks,
Computer check, please.
The recommendation that the accounts payable, computer check, and EFT listings dated January 15th and 22nd, 2026 be received for information.
So moved.
Moved and seconded, Councillor Nelson and Councillor Beam, all in favor. Opposed, if any, carried unanimously. And next item is William Lake Curling Club, application for liquor.
I'll take a breath before this one. The recommendation that pursuant to the report of the planner dated January 5th, 2026, Council provide a resolution to the Provincial Liquor and Cannabis Regulations Branch on the application submitted by the Williams Lake Curling Club located at 800 Mackenzie Avenue South for structural changes to an approved liquor primary license establishment, and further that the LCRB be advised of the following considerations that led to the recommendation. Number one, establishment location. The Williams Lake Curling Club is located at 800 Mackenzie Avenue South in the Stampede Grounds and is owned Civic Assembly and Institutional, P1. It is located within the downtown core adjacent to Mackenzie Avenue corridor. Council has no concerns with the establishment's location or zoning of the site, has met the parking requirements. 2, hours of operation. The Curling Club's proposed hours will be between Monday to Sunday at 9 a.m. to 2 a.m. The proposed occupancy is 75 persons on the ground floor and 150 persons on the second floor. Business hours are remaining unchanged from the current operating hours. The fire department and building inspection have no concerns regarding occupancy. Council deems the current hours and proposed new occupancy acceptable. 3, impact of noise on the immediate vicinity. The potential for noise is not expected to increase if the application is improved. The area is accustomed to existing services. The Curling Club neighbors commercial and public uses that vary in operational times, and no residential properties in immediate proximity of the establishment. 4, impact on the community. If the application is approved, the potential for negative impacts is minimal, as the area is located within the downtown core and there are no large occupancy liquor establishments in close proximity. The impact of the community is expected to be positive, as the Curling Club will be able to continue operating with an increased floor area that provides additional flexibility, thereby supporting community events and enhancing membership use for the City of Williams Lake recreation community. And 5, view residents, a public notification process, including signage at the site posted on all entry doors on January 13th, and notices placed in the January 15th and 22nd, 2026 issues of the Williams Lake Tribune, was conducted to gather surrounding residents' views on the application in keeping with the city's liquor license application policy. No feedback or concerns were received from the public for this application.
I'll move all 5 recommendations for discussion.
Moved and I need somebody to second it, Councillor Nelson, Councillor Flaspohler, Mr. Maraca. Before Mr. Maraca comes and gives us update, it's pretty well nothing. It's just house cleaning. They had the license upstairs. They're adding downstairs. A lot of people like me, they will grab a beer. They'll go downstairs. Staff have to tell them, hey, don't go downstairs. Go upstairs. So things like that. It's no timing change. Yes, going to be a little bit more capacity. And it's nothing much. Mr. Maraca, please.
Yeah, thanks, Your Worship. I think we need to give Ross a recess for having to read out the planner's
Yes,
recommendation, because that's probably the longest recommendation I've ever seen.
Ever seen, yeah. Yeah, not to interrupt you, I was going to say, whoever moved and seconded, they go to talk as long as Mr. Coupe did it. I keep saying first was moved. Councillor Nelson, please.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head, Your Worship. I think this really kind of tidies things up. You know, we encourage nonprofit organizations to venture out and increase their capacity to ensure long-term viability. So I'll be supporting the recommendation that's in front of us. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. Anybody else? Hearing none. All in favor? And just for the, nobody opposed, it's all unanimous, but just for the community record, it's not granted. We all send the message to liquor license inspector by passing this resolution that we have no concern. It's up to the liquor inspector. There's a couple other items coming in down to the agenda, and the same would apply on that. It's carried unanimously. And next item, please, cannabis license.
The recommendation that pursuant to the report of the planner dated January 12th, 2026, Council directs staff to initiate the public notification and agency referrals process for a proposed retail cannabis store to be located at 401-1185 Prosperity Way for the provincial license referral, and further that agency and public comments be brought back to Council for final consideration after the completion of the public notification process conducted in a format as approved by the Chief Administrative Officer.
I need seconded. Moved and seconded. Councillor Flaspohler, Councillor Lyon. Any concern question? Like I said earlier, it's the same thing. We are basically letting the process begin. Staff has not shown any concern. We had 4 or 5 cannabis license before in the community, and this is going to be the next one. There's a concern if you cannot have the cannabis store close to the school or institution, places like that, but there's no concern as the staff had it. So it will go the recommendation to the liquor and the cannabis license inspector, and they will make their decision. Basically, this recommendation is to let the process start. That's what it is. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried unanimously. Item number D, please, Memorandum of Understanding.
The recommendation that pursuant to the report of the Director of Protective Services dated January 9th, 2026, Council endorsed the 2026 renewal of the Memorandum of Understanding between the Cariboo Regional District and the City of Williams Lake to provide emergency support services to residents within the region, and further that the Mayor and Corporate Officer be authorized to sign the agreement on behalf of the City.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded, Councillor Flaspohler, Councillor Nelson. It's a great collaboration. Since 1st of November 2022, this council sworn in, our mission, unwritten mission, has been working together. It's one of the best partnerships we had with the regional district. It's another collaboration to keep working the way we are, and I will not miss it or undo this collaboration. It's excellent working together project, and Mr. Dixon, our director, have done excellent job. Councillor Flaspohler, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I completely agree with Your Worship's sentiments, and I was just going to say the same thing, that it's a great showcase of partnership between the different governing agencies. But over and above that, emergency support services is so critical. And with my emergency services background, we know how amazing this entity is. We want to make sure that it's there for our community. I don't know how many structure fires I've been to where we're asking the homeowners, do you have insurance? And some of them say no, and then they have absolutely nothing in front of them. And this is one of those entities that supports them. It's just really, really critical, and it's such a good thing to have something that helps people in their absolute worst nightmares. So just really think it's a great partnership, and we have to have it.
Thank you, Councillor Flaspohler. No vote to further discussion. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Unanimously. Well, looks like silly season coming up. Next one is appointment of election officials, please.
Recommendation that pursuant to the report of the Corporate Officer dated January 22nd, 2026, Council appoint Ross Coupé as the Chief Election Officer and Rena Schill as the Deputy Election Official for the 2026 City of Williams Lake local government election.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Councillor Moses and Councillor Nelson. Any discussion? Well, silly season has not begun, so it doesn't mean to say that way. It's the preparation. As everybody knows, the 4-year term would be ending, and October 17th is the election day, D-Day, for the whole BC, for the municipal level, regional district and city. So it is in preparation. Staff needs to be appointed every time the election takes place. All the appointment goes for the particular election when council or the board or any identity appoint them. So that's what it is. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Next one is memo of Councillor Nelson, please.
Council recommendation that the memorandum of Councillor Nelson dated January 22nd, 2026 be received, and that City of Williams Lake Council send a letter to the City of Richmond supporting its public safety camera system program, and further that correspondence be sent to the senior levels of government urging them to reconsider the outdated and unnecessary restrictive approach to collecting data for public safety and downloading the responsibility and repercussions to local governments, and that this correspondence be copied to the NCLGA and UBCM.
So moved.
Moved and seconded, Councillor Nelson and Councillor Lyon.
Thank you.
Councillor Bain.
Thank you very much, Your Worship.
Hold on. I think I had a Councillor Bain raise my hand first. Did you?
Go ahead.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I did want to.
Sorry, I thought you was first. Doesn't matter to me.
I would have
Go
seconded,
ahead.
but I
No,
was
no.
also up to talk. Thank you, Your Worship, and thank you, Councillor Nelson, for bringing this forward. I just wanted to comment on the last meeting, how they were saying they wanted media everywhere. and yet they don't want this. Like, I feel like I get blown away by people's opinions that something like cameras on a thing, but we're going to but the human rights wants people, media, even at their worst point, people being allowed anywhere to witness things. It's, to me, it's this dichotomy I can't wrap around that. So of course I'm in support of cameras being used and for our officers, and sometimes maybe it won't even be in their favor. Like, if it's not something they should be doing, hopefully that's being caught too. I'm actually okay with people wearing body cameras. I'm not necessarily okay with everybody being allowed to witness anybody's worst moment in their life. So I actually think it's just ironic. I want to point out from our last meeting how we were being told we should be allowed everywhere. Cameras should be allowed anywhere and anywhere we want to do it, but apparently not at intersections and places that they are. So yeah, so I think we have to support this less restrictive use of cameras.
Thank you. Councillor Nelson, before I let you speak, I want to apologize from you. Usually thumb of rule is who the report is, we get that person to speak before anybody else. Because I saw Councillor Bame's hand before I saw yours, so that's why I let her go that way. Go ahead, please. Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. There's no doubt that this is becoming a bigger issue inside the box for tools for municipalities across the province to be able to utilize cameras to assist them not only in their operations, but also to assist them with threats to public security and public safety. Communities across the province use cameras for operation use, but at the same time, if there's an accident or a theft or any type of criminal activity, the police have access to them. We use ours in our community for operation sites, but at the same time, if the police need them, they can come and access them. Just like many businesses along the corridor, just like the hospital, just like if you walk into a mall, just like the new body cams coming out, they're there to help, to assist, to ensure that there's a greater degree of public safety. Municipalities across the province are trying to put more tools in the toolbox to ensure that there's a higher degree of public safety. And this just happens to be one of them, where every single time a municipality turns around and tries to implement another safety feature that will assist to ensure that the community is safer, there's another committee or another civil liberties rights group out there saying, no, you can't do this. And it impedes the rights of a municipality to ensure their number one priority is to ensure public safety. And quite frankly, the test is Richmond. This has been ongoing. They put it in their budget in 2024 or 2025, $2.5 million. The Michael Harvey wrote them and said, you got to tear them out. And they said, charge us. And I support the use of cameras. We're not trying to peer into people's bedrooms, Your Worship. What we're trying to do is ensure that there is a public safety aspect here. And if you're doing the crime, you're going to do the time. And I think that's what the city of Richmond is doing, is they're trying to take the lead on this. And I think as a municipality, trying to ensure that we've got the tools available that will assist us from an operations point of view, but also at the same time to be able to put in place the opportunity to protect the community. We're not trying to change the world here. We're not putting biometrics, facial recognition in front of us. We're not doing all those wild, crazy things. We've got cameras in our community for operations. The police have access to them if there's a crime in that area. But Richmond is doing the right thing, and that's to protect their community. So the recommendation is threefold. One, that we support them. Two, that we ask UBCM and NCLGA as a province to also back them as well. There needs to be change. The rights of the individual are starting to succumb the rights of the individual collective of a community. And that's becoming a big problem. So that's the reason the recommendation is here. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nelson. Councillor Flaspohler, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm going to be leaning in an opposite direction on this. I am not in support of this recommendation for multiple reasons, and I'm going to try to explain that. And that is because I dove into the reports. I did a bunch of reading once this is presented, so I'm really happy that it came through as a memo from Councillor Nelson and not a late item. So it's really great. So it gave us time to look at it. But I have multiple things that I want to mention. One, I feel we're not staying in our lane or our purview on this. This is not ours to debate or discuss. And I feel like I'm getting a bit exhausted with this coming to this table when we should be spending time discussing the occurrences and services of this organization in this municipality. I feel we're constantly barking up everyone else's tree and not necessarily looking at our own. That's my personal feel. 2, I feel that this year, being the silly season kind of comment, is being an election year. And if we're going to be constantly seeing agenda items that are showcasing an abundance of news topics being placed on the table, in my opinion, it's there to garnish attention and votes, and I am not going to be supporting these kind of discussions. That's me personally. I'm not comfortable with it. I don't want to see news items constantly coming to this table for talk. 3, there is now an order towards Richmond from the Office of the Information and Privacy Commissioner to remove these high-resolution cameras. And I'm just going to read you some of this report, because there's always community members that don't do the research and read the information that comes behind some of these decisions. So I'm going to share so that people understand. So this is from the commissioner's message, and in it, it says, people of British Columbia deserve to know that someone is watching out for them and making sure that their public safety is there for sure. But if we do not implement these technologies in a thoughtful, careful, and limited manner, we risk slipping into a society where people feel like they are always being watched. And with technology nowadays, this is my statement, I believe that's real. And we have to be paying attention. Further, on the report, further advancements in camera technology and software make it too easy and tempting for public bodies and private sector organizations to acquire and employ high-definition, Zoom-quality cameras with night vision, facial recognition, audio recording, automated license plate recognition, and other such features that, when combined, go over and above what is considered reasonable collection for the context. Such features also raise the potential for scope creep, where technology installed for one purpose is later used for other purposes. In the report, fortunately, we have laws in BC that establish the parameters for limited and proportional surveillance. The Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, which governs the provincial and municipal public sectors, and which is the legal basis for this report, establishes that public bodies must only collect information as authorized by law. Through this report, we describe why the city is not authorized to collect personal information through this project for law enforcement or for any other purpose under FIPA, the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. So that's in the report. I think it's just really important that we're acknowledging that there's aspects here that we have to consider, and we can't be having monitors everywhere that's watching people. On the executive summary of this report, the OIPC investigated the city's field testing of the PSCS under 42(1) of FIPA and found that the city is not authorized under FIPA to collect, use, or disclose personal information through the PSCS or its field tests. Specifically, FIPA does not authorize the city to collect personal information through PSCS or in the field test for the purpose of law enforcement for a city program or activity, or for planning or evaluating a city program or activity. Further, the OIPC found that the city did not provide adequate notification to individuals of the purpose and authority for collecting their personal information. There is now, this is going to go to court. I do not want to be involved in submitting letters to the province, to NCLGA or UBCM on a court proceeding that's going to be happening. I feel that we're out of step on that. The next thing that I wanted just to mention, this kind of, because I know this also from overviewing this topic has made me ask if the cameras that keep reoccurring on every budget year that we have, about $25,000 goes towards it. It was started from previous council. And it's being placed in our city is in compliance of requirements. I'm not saying that we're doing anything wrong, but I want to make sure and affirm that we're doing things right. Now that I have seen this discussion, I've done some research and I've done some reading. So I have a subsequent recommendation that I would also like to be able to put to the table, and I can state what that is right now. That staff provide a report to this council indicating that the previous project of placing cameras in the downtown core has been overviewed and approved by the city's legal firm to maintain compliance with the Provincial Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act.
Could I
Thank
hold it till we finish this resolution?
that's
I'll
it.
definitely come back. I got Councillor Lyon, then Councillor Bain, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Recently, somebody asked me why I care so much about what's happening in the States when we have issues happening up here, and I said it's largely because what happens down there can have a trickle effect and it can affect us. I feel the same way about this. I don't want it to come to the point where our cameras are called into question. If our cameras can help solve a crime, can help finding a missing person, can help stop an Amber Alert, I don't want us to lose the ability to have those. I don't feel that this is an overstep. I have a 2,800 square foot business. I have 19 cameras, half of which I can access from my phone at a moment's notice. If that means protecting my staff, if that means protecting my customers, I want to have the ability to do that. I am afraid that something like this is going to keep growing and we are going to see cameras like ours come into question, and I don't want to see that happen. So I do feel that this is something that we do need to speak out about, because we need to let them know municipalities aren't okay with the direction that this is going. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bain.
Thank you, Your Worship. I agree with Councillor Lyons. I think safety is of concern to the community, actually. I think it's one of our biggest things is community safety. I think that for all municipalities, we have to support each other. We have to have things that we're all seeing issues. This isn't just Councillor Lyons' business. So many businesses are being affected. And so anything that can provide safety and hopefully added knowledge, and I mean, it's going to show good and bad. If there's some problems with the RCMP, it's going to show that too. I can't disagree more with Councillor Flaspohler. I feel this, and I just want to point out that communities, safety is a problem, cameras is a problem. We have to pay RCMP. Cities are tied 100% to all of the policing. Like, how can it not be a factor for us when we pay the bills, we pay for the RCMP, we pay for safety? It's 100% us. That is us. The bus capture, it's us. And I'll just point out that it is downloaded so much onto us because we're the ones having to pay it. We're the ones having to figure it out. Safety has been downloaded 100%. But I would fight that we then have rights to put up things to keep our people safe. And I would also like to point out, as a member of Director at Large on UBCM, there's even a public safety committee that literally, that's what we talk about, the body worn cameras, the safety in the communities, the whole policing, the whole cameras, like, it is part of the whole province. So we can't just look in our own little bubble either. I feel like that is part of who we are, is to be with everyone else and to help support our other communities trying to make changes. So I am fully in support of however we can help this city that is trying to make some change and see how it goes. So that's my...
I got you guys second time, but I'm trying to finish the first time around. Michael Moses, please, Councillor.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have a question for our CEO, but I'm going to make some comments first. First off, the Office of Information and Privacy Commission is not a human rights group. I don't know where that thought comes from. This is not the same group that wants media encampments. That's the Human Rights Commissioner. These are not the same organization. I feel like the wording on the recommendation is a little opinionated, with the words like outdated and unnecessary, because these are current policies by an organization that's much bigger than ours. I guess my question through to the CEO Mr. Mayor, is did the city of Richmond request letters of support for this?
Please.
No, not to my knowledge, Your Worship, to Councillor Moses.
Thank you. I feel like sending a letter like this that hasn't even been asked for is just akin to us sending our opinion in writing. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. I'll wait for my turn because I've usually done that way. And let the council member finish their round. Second time, Councillor Nelson, then Councillor Flaspohler, please.
Well, thank you very much, Your Worship. And I can appreciate that my colleague, Councillor Flaspohler, wants to stay in her lane. And that's part of the problem. That's not part of the solution. The problem is that there's a massive impact, and this is the beginning of creating change. We recognize the opportunity that sits around this table by joining together and banding together collectively, whether you're a region or as a province. This has regional impacts. It's only a matter of time before they come knocking and they say to the city of William Lake, we really don't care why you got your cameras up there, whether they're for operation or not, take them down. That's why I suggested politically, and it is a loaded resolution, because I do think that the privacy commissioner it's outdated. It is a provincial mandated committee, and it does have significant impacts across the municipality. When it comes to the opportunity to be able to recognize that there may be tools inside that toolbox to assist us in trying to ensure that it will make our community safer, we need to look at every opportunity. And this is one where we're putting our hand up and we say, hey, look, we recognize provincially that this will have significant impacts. It's only a matter of time. So it is a loaded recommendation. I'm elected as a politician to bring forward what I think is the right choice for our community. I can't tell you how many times the police have stopped at many of the businesses across Highway 97 going south or Highway 97 going north that they know have got cameras, because they track a guy that's done crime downtown where the incident occurred, and they follow him along and they take that evidence to court. So this is a tool for the future. It's not going to stop the crime today. What it's going to do for us is to add value to the tools in the toolbox for the RCMP. And that's all that we're simply trying to do, is to support one of our colleagues in another part of the province right now that's going to court as the number one issue, public safety. And if you want to talk public safety, just look what happened in Surrey. They were looking at declaring a state of emergency because of all the shootings. Criminals don't care about what we say or what we do. They don't care about any laws. So we need to get ahead of the curve. We need to stay on top of it and give those opportunities. Instead of taking away the collective rights of the community, you should be filling that basket full. So I fundamentally disagree with my colleague, Councillor Flaspohler. This is a tool that I think will help our communities. And that's why the recommendation says very clearly, we ask both senior levels of government, the provincial and the federal government, to reconsider, which I think is outdated information with regards to collecting the data and being able to use it, and send it to NCLGA, and UBCM. I think it's smart. It's another tool in the toolbox to help protect our communities. If we keep eroding the rights as a community, no wonder the criminals will be wanting to come to town. I'm trying to stop them from coming to town. Thank you.
Councillor Flaspohler, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think some of my colleagues think that I don't support the safety of this community. I 100% support the safety of this community. And when my colleague, Councillor Lyons, mentions about her store and the amount of cameras she has in there, I completely support that. When I know that this building and other buildings for the city, public buildings, have cameras, and they're here for the security of these buildings and for the public, and it's made known to people that are coming into these buildings that they're being filmed, that's fair and that's right. But having it where the technology is changing now, and it's changing so aggressively, and so quickly, where we're all of a sudden saying it's okay to have this type of technology in every single place that you may be walking outside where you think you're not being watched. There is a certain amount of privacy that needs to be maintained to all of us as individuals. And that is what is being stated in this situation. I understand that these things can help the police and the RCMP.
Thank you.
But that is when they're supposed to be following up on it. When there's an actual occurrence, not 24/7 constantly being watched. So there's a difference there. And this is where the people that are within the profession and understand the laws, they state that. That's why this report says, no, this is crossing the line. Yes, we want everything to be safe, but we also have to keep the integrity of society and make sure that everybody doesn't feel like they're being watched all the time, everywhere they go. And we have every right to that. That's part of the democracy of the country that we live in. And that's something that has to be considered. So I still stand strong in my position. Thank you.
Thank you. 2 bits from me. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Councillor Moses.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I just want to point out, even though I might not see this as the most effective way forward, that I am in support of making our community safer. And I do know some prime examples in our community where cameras have done that, including when some of our celebration sidewalks were being repeatedly vandalized. But cameras helped fix that situation. When our prized Scout Island needed a security camera, we helped provide that, and we helped provide that safety to that treasured part of our community. So I can see the use of these. I still don't particularly see the reasoning for unprovoked sending our opinion along on paper, but I am in support of the idea that we're trying to provide safety to our community in a way that it has already proven that it has done so. So I'm not against it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Far as I'm concerned, I'm quite often here on the weekends doing my work. I've seen quite a few times the cops are running and they'll come to my office. They see my truck or car, depending what I'm driving. They know both my wheels. They'll come tell me they're here. They check on the cameras. I don't support breaking anybody's privacy, but number one issue in the community, but community is telling the mayor's office, to me, is their safety concern. I wholeheartedly support that. If any camera view, my understanding is, Mr. CEO can correct me if I'm wrong, there are a lot many more issues been resolved in the community when the law enforcement people come to the city hall. They have the key, like I do, or other council member do, I suppose. And they had the key to go to the camera room and they can check whatever they need to see the information. I support that. When people are talking to me here and there, they're not worried about the taxes. They are, but they're not. They're not worried about anything else but the jobs or economics. The most important they are worried is about their personal safety or their business safety. Look what's happening in Surrey. I didn't get to watch the news every day or every evening. When I'm home, I try my best to watch it. I remember 20th of January, I was watching the news, Global BC, and a reporter was saying 20 days, 21 shootings. How can we call this country Canada? Canada was the most safest country on the planet. Are we still the same? Doesn't sound like it. You don't know. For next minute or hour, you would be shot down with no reason, or you would be seeing your kids or grandkids or your wife or your husband or your brother, sister, or not. That is concern to me. It's a big concern. I have heard nothing but lots and lots in private. I had a good discussion with different minister. Even most of the minister I saw in Prince George last week was not concerned from the art area of the law enforcement. Premier is overall involved with everything, and he's responsible for everything happen in this community, in this province. I had a good discussion with him, and when we met alone, because when we met as a delegation, we had enough time, we had enough issue to raise with them. So I have no issue, but if somebody going to use this camera for personal use or for crazy thing, I don't support that. But anything to the safety, I will 100% support that. And I appreciate the research Councillor Flaspohler have done. Mr. Maraca, please.
Thanks, Your Worship. So I just want to clarify something that you mentioned there. The RCMP or staff, there's nobody that continually monitors the cameras. I want to make that very clear. These cameras are there as a resource for live monitoring for operations staff. And these cameras have access to basically have data, but it's cycled over between 30 to 60 days. And the RCMP do not have unfettered access to sit down there and monitor it or basically request. They have to go through the same processes. It's our information. There are our cameras. And it'd be no different than Councillor Moses having a camera in front of his house and there's a crime in front of his house. They go to Councillor Moses and say, can I see your camera?
Yes.
That's exactly what we're talking about here. And our cameras are not high resolution cameras that are at locations where you can zoom in and see inside a car and see somebody doing it. They're for different purposes. So I just want to be clear that they're looking at it for if they see it'll aid in their investigations and they're not monitored. I think the only staff member that has access to it is our IT manager. Correct. So he's the only one that goes down there and has a key. I don't even go into computers.
None of us can go. Only our IT person have the access. And something remind me, but Mr. Maraca said 2 weeks back exactly when we came to the meeting and Director Forsett came, he said, what happened? Lots of wheels was going toward your house. And when I went home after the council meeting, and my wife, first thing she said, oh, there was cops here all over the place. And they came to ask and they visit because my place is fully protected and cameras, everything. And they came to watch the system and they did. I said, you did a good thing. If something to solve the crime and something they can watch it and it could help them, I don't have an issue. So last time, Councillor Nelson, please.
I think we've had a great debate, Your Worship. I'll call the question.
Okay, question being called. All in favor? Oppose, if any. Councillor Flaspohler, motion carried.
Thank you, Worship.
Thank you. Man, I think half of agenda is Councillor Nelson. Councillor Nelson, support of paramedic.
The council recommendation that the memorandum from Councillor Nelson dated January 22nd, 2026 be received and the City of Williams Lake Council be on record in support of the ambulance paramedics of BC and encourage the province to appoint a mediator, Vince Reddy, to assist in reaching a fair contract between BC's paramedics and the province of British Columbia.
So moved.
I need seconder. Moved in second, Councillor Nelson.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. This isn't the first time that I've been on record supporting our paramedics in rural British Columbia. I know when Richard Bulla was a paramedic, he used to keep us fully informed in terms of the struggles that they had being paramedics and the struggles of overtime. We know the position that we're in with healthcare right now. Really what's happened is that they're close, but they're not across the finish line. And what the paramedics have very clearly asked for is some help, some support, some public support to encourage the provincial government with the healthcare and such crises. We know that in 2025, close to 250 or over 225 closures in emergency rooms across the province of BC has massive impacts on our ambulance attendants. Our ambulance attendants are the hardest working first guys on an accident scene. So if we have a closure in 100 Mile House, that has massive impacts on the ambulance system. And in rural British Columbia, it's even worse than what's taking place in the city. So this recommendation that's in front of us, Your Worship, just basically prompts the provincial government that we recognize the severity of the issue. We recognize where the healthcare crisis is. We already have a doctor shortage in our community. When 100 Mile House goes down, that has an impact on our local ambulances as well. And we need to take the pressure off of that system. And the recommendation is very clearly in support of the paramedics. We're asking exactly what they've asked for, and that's for the province to appoint Vince Reddy, who is probably one of the best mediators in the province. And actually, I think he's a former paramedic, now that I think of it, to help close this gap and to close it so that we can provide that certainty back to our communities and back to our region and back to the province. The paramedics are a vital, important part of healthcare. Minutes count. And so for us, at least as a community, we can come out and support them and ask the province to appoint Vince Reddy to help close this gap and put certainty back into it. That's what the recommendation is there for, is to be on record as a community. Thank you, Your Worship.
Councillor Flaspohler, Councillor Bain.
Thank you, Your Worship. I 100% support ambulance paramedics of this province. I actually did the job. My first call was a suicide. I understand what the challenges are. I know how hard the work is. 150% they have my support. But I feel this is also another one of those items of staying in our lane. I don't think this organization or this council would appreciate someone else coming in and telling us how to do our contract negotiations and who to appoint. And that's what I feel that this recommendation does. And for that reason, if it just stated that we were just supporting the paramedics, I'd be great for it. But when it comes to details of all of a sudden saying how it needs to be done, I feel that we are somewhat out of our lane again, and I don't feel that this is right for us as a council to do. I really do want to see that there is no impact to our community or any other rural area, but I'm not sure if this is what we should be doing at this point. I wouldn't want anybody doing it to us. Thank you.
I go to Councillor Bain, please, next.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm also going to side with Councillor Nelson here on supporting this recommendation. I can't imagine what will happen if they have to go on strike. This is crazy. It's crazy that we have to. It's absolutely insane that we have to do things like write a letter to support ambulance paramedics. Like, there's already numerous instances where they have not been able to make it, even in our own communities, even with how they're like, we do not have enough, not just nursing and medical staff, we don't have enough paramedics. We don't have it. Like, so if they go off, like, we're going to be some of the hardest hit. And so I do think we have to make it a priority for the province to settle with the strike. Like, we don't need a strike from this group, and this group has a really hard time. It's like nurses. They don't easily go on strike. None of these people, they go into caring professions that it is not easy to then say, well, I'm not going to work today. So they work overtime, they work long hours, they work long shifts, they drive long periods. Same with nurses, they work long shifts. This isn't their choice. They would rather just have a fair agreement. And I think that behooves us to support this group. Thank you.
Councillor Moses, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. First off, I want to thank Councillor Nelson for bringing this forward and putting a little bit of a spotlight on this one. I looked it up a bit earlier, and the ambulance paramedics of BC, they represent more than 6,000 paramedics and emergency dispatchers in our province. I don't want to see what would happen to our healthcare system if job action happened on that. I just want to point out too, like, staying in our lane is one thing, but I remember very, very early on in our first year of our term, I used to ask my senior members of my colleagues here a lot of questions. Now I talk a bit more instead of ask. Maybe I should listen more. But I remember very vividly once when Councillor Bain pointed out to me and really set me on a better direction on one of my opinions, was that part of our roles of being on this council is to advocate for our constituencies to other forms of government. So when in this instance, we could just stay in our lane, or we can advocate for our constituencies to other forms of government. And I could see going either way being all right. But in this instance, this is something that's so important to everyone in our community. Anyone who could have an accident, anyone who's taking care of an elder in their household like I am, that this is such an important topic that getting a little bit of a spotlight on it in our region, it isn't only important, but it shows our ambulance paramedics in our region that we're behind them, or as our mayor would say, we're never a step behind you. We're always right beside you. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you. I got you both. You said it all, what I wanted to say, Councillor Moses.
Very well said.
Thank you. And last week, I got you both. When we met with the Premier, my singing Kumbaya song was, Councillor Bain would verify that, and also the CEO. I told the Premier, if there's a flooding, whose fault is mayor? If there's too much snow, whose fault is this mayor? If there's a fire, it's a mayor's fault. If doctor's not here, it's a mayor's fault. I totally agree with my colleague, Councillor Flaspohler, saying I 100% support staying in the lane, but this is not the subject where I would stay in my lane. It's a sad story. My mother passed away because of the paramedic, believe it or not. They was not on strike because they was busy working. 2-3 months back, 29-year-old mother expecting baby, I believe was 26, 27-year expectancy. She fall and broke her hip. She was to be transported. Doctor didn't waste a single minute. Diagnosing her, recommending that she should be transported right away to Kelowna Hospital. Her mother and her partner left within a minute. I remember now, it was 10th or 11th November date, if I recall it. And her father is sitting with her, hungry for 2 days, waiting for the ambulance. There's nobody on strike. But they cannot, she could not be transported to any private wheel. She need air ambulance. And the mother was crying. It took her half an hour to tell me the story. I did whatever I could. And the plane came 3 times to transport her, and plane was redirected because other people had priority, heart patients. My whole story is we cannot afford these medical professionals leave us in the limbo. We need to support them. When we can stay in the lane, we will. I am the first person not to cross the line. Good example is yesterday and today, somebody was messaging me, my phone is full of messages. I said, hey, listen, I can't help you. I got to see my right-hand man first thing in the morning. Soon he got a chance, I got a chance, we dealt it. The person came, I referred to him. This is their job, this is operational people's job, not policy maker job. But we have to support, we have to stand where we can. Reference to Richard Bolo, he did call me today. For the community or the member of council or the people in the audience doesn't know, Richard Bolo was a paramedic person here in town. He was, I believe, vice president of the paramedic association. Now he lives in the Vernon or somewhere there, and he's consistently in touch. And he actually did call me today, ask me what is my thought on this. I told him what my thoughts were. No, I wholeheartedly supported this, but taken too much time. Councillor Nelson and Councillor Flaspohler, please.
Thank you, Worship. Just my closing comments is that these are our friends, these are our neighbors, they're our community. They are the front line of the healthcare system, first and foremost, at the ambulance scene. It's critical, and I truly believe that it's important to advocate on something that is this important. Our community is short of doctors. We know that the healthcare is in a crisis. We know the number, touch wood, the number of emergency shutdowns that we have had in the Cariboo is significant. And it has a rolling impact. So by helping to put some spotlight on this, and it's and I agree with my colleague, it's worded quite clearly, not to be wishy-washy, but to get into the lane of action, to get into the lane of trying to get something done. Vince Reddy is one of the best mediators this province has ever had. He finds a way to make it happen and close the minor gaps. That's what they've asked for. I want this community to be on record of supporting them and let them know how important they are to us as a community and as a region. So I want us to get into the lane and provide some action to ensure that healthcare remains important. Thank you.
Councillor Flaspohler, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. I appreciate all my colleagues' comments, and I do appreciate, the initiative here. So listening to the sentiments at the table, I understand that the support is needed for the paramedics. I agree on that aspect 100%. So I will change and support this. I feel, though, it's unfortunate, I have to say, that I am supporting this without having any knowledge of this contract negotiation, any of the details, who this individual is, why they're being requested and maybe not chosen as a mediator. I don't know any of that. And that's unfortunate for me. I like to have information before I make any types of decisions, but I do not want to appear to this community that I do not support the ambulance service. I know firsthand how hard that work is, more than I guarantee anybody in this room. So I don't want community to think that I don't support them, because I completely do. But that's how it's going to get spun. It's just, I don't believe that we should be weighing in on any organization's collective agreement. Thank you.
In nutshell, I was going to say this, and I'll repeat myself if I didn't say it before. Who would know more than you, Councillor Flaspohler, the emergency service? You spent so many years as a firefighter. And I know you're coming the matter, staying in our lane, doing our business, but I'm glad you're on board, and I'll come back to your other motion too. If everybody said all in favor, opposed if any, carried unanimously. And I'm sorry, I didn't want to miss your motion, you with the camera. Could you repeat, please, or did you record it, or motion with the camera? Did we record it? Okay, please, could you repeat your motion with the camera?
Okay, from the previous
Yeah,
item,
previous,
or is
please,
that- Are
please,
we in
please,
line
please.
to do that, or are we?
No, it's okay, you go ahead. As a chair, I can do it.
One second, Your Worship.
Yeah, please.
So Your Worship, that was the last item. So if you're going back, they recommend that because you're reopening in a matter that's
Not the matter is dealt, but she have an additional motion.
Not on this particular item.
Can we,
Yeah.
can we go there?
If council's fine with it, Mayor, if you're fine with it, then council's fine with it.
I don't have a difficulty if, could you repeat, then we will decide, then let council vote, can we accept your motion or not first? Could you,
I'll
Okay,
let staff just
let the staff
discuss.
decide.
Yeah, because
sorry.
it's all
My
right.
fault.
That's fine.
Can I call orders of the day so we can carry on the sole sourcing, Your Worship? Thank you.
We can do that too. So what is your ruling, sir?
Your mic, sorry.
Council can waive the usual rules of procedure. I didn't hear all the conversation though, so if council wants to do that, they can, but if not, we can.
Okay, can we come on the late item then?
Yeah, we can
Carry
move
on.
back, yeah.
Okay, we'll come at the late item, carry on. But sorry, next one is Kiwanis Park, please. Don't let me forget.
The recommendation that pursuant to the report of the Director of Municipal Services dated January 12th, 2026, Council waive the purchasing policy number 138 and approve a direct award for the install of a replacement surface safety rubber at Kiwanis Park to Marathon Surfaces, Inc. for the contracted price of $160,329.08, excluding applicable taxes.
Second.
Moved and seconded, Councillor Nelson.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I'll be supporting this recommendation. I appreciate the work that the staff have done and certainly what the staff have done over the last 15 to 18 years to make it last this long. This is a big upgrade for the Kiwanis Park. It's a safety issue at the end of the day to protect our kids in our community. It's really the replacement of the surface material, the rubber compound inside of Kiwanis/Rotary Park to be renamed. Marathon Services out of, I think it's Vancouver, I believe, is coming in to do it. If we put the order in now, it'll be ready for the summer. So that's the reason why we're sole sourcing it and bringing it forward. So it's really needs to be done. We passed the issue of safety tests, so it's time to replace it. It's a big number, but protects our children. So I'll be
Excellent.
supporting it. Thank you.
Councillor Flash.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm feeling like such a negative Nancy tonight. Sorry, everybody. But in all honesty, my notes, when I reviewed this, I feel that this is one we shouldn't do sole sourcing on. I feel that it's important for us to put it out so that we are getting other prices. I reviewed the report and I appreciate staff's effort in doing the report, but we're finding more and more items have been coming to us about doing sole sourcing and not doing the process of making sure that it's going out to multiple applicants. I've opened tenders here. I've seen some of them that are massively different. And I think it's important that we somewhat, follow our policies, which is making sure that we are getting more than one quote on, and this is important. And this is important for, our youth and for our community, but it is also our responsibility to make sure that we are being fiscally responsible. I have a question to staff, if possible. Who did the testing saying that it needed to be done? Is it the same company?
That's correct.
So the same company came in, said that it needed the testing and it failed. And yeah, so that's another reason why I feel it's important that we go out to multiple. Thank you.
Mr. Maraca.
Thanks, Your Worship. So with regards to sole sourcing, there's no better people than staff to basically suggest when it's needed to be sole source, because they have their finger on the pulse of the pricing. They have the finger on the pulse of the suppliers. This is specialized work. We would not be bringing work forward that would not be competitive and asking council to support sole sourcing in a situation that did not make financial sense. This is going to take longer. It's going to basically, I don't even know if there's other people that can provide this service, and we've always relied on them to basically do our work. And not to mention, the discussion with them doing the testing to begin with, we are regulated with all our playgrounds to do our own testing prior. They do not identify, I just don't want the public to think that there's an assumption that they are telling us we need to do the work, therefore we're going for it with them. That's not how it works. We inspect regularly, weekly, all our playground equipment, including our surfaces and stuff like that, where we are mandated to do that. And we have to do reports for our insurance and for our risk management. And I just want to make clear, Marathon did not come in and say, you have a problem here. By the way, we'll fix it for $160,000. And we wrote a report to council saying that we're doing this. That's not how sole sourcing works. We would not be recommending sole sourcing.
Councillor Flash, are you done? Or you got other question?
Yeah, just a couple things. I did just a quick search because I was looking to see if there's other companies that do it in BC. I got a list of different ones. I don't know where they are, whether they're available. So when I reviewed the report, I actually did the due diligence of looking to see, because it did list in the report, this company is one of the sole providers of this product and installation services that staff are aware of in BC. So I I'm letting you know how I
Appreciate
feel.
it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Bain.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm okay with the sole sourcing. This isn't a car that we're putting it out for, it's not like it's all our local dealers. And I think it's more of a specialized thing. It's someone that's been here, and I appreciate the sentiment about searching around, but I'm not sure it's worth the staff's time to call around to that many places and deal with that many things on such a project. It's different when we know there's other companies in closer vicinity. We already know there's not going to be anybody in town. There's not going to be anyone. These are people that know the area, know the material, so know what they're dealing with. So I can see in the future looking and seeing what other options. This is definitely something I think actually, as we're talking, I was thinking it's something at UBCM, whether there's people in the booths that maybe our CAO needs to go and delve into other companies, but it's just not for having it into, that's what you can do, go wander the floor, find me other rubber, but I am just like, for now, for the essence of time, and like I said, it's not a smaller thing where I'm looking at a car or like projects. I think I'm okay with it for this one, but I feel the CAO can do lots of research on for next time.
Nothing
Thanks.
to do better. Councillor Moses.
Thank you, Your Worship. As far as trying to potentially find a better price, I don't know. It says right in our report that this is one of the only providers. The cost is competitive with providers across the country, and it fits within a pre-approved budget. We've already approved more than this amount. I don't understand why we would try to complicate this and try to have Gary go put another 100 hours into this. It's done.
Yeah, he got nothing
Oh,
else.
wait, Gary won't do it.
Yeah. Only thing is,
But I think my point is made, right? Like that we've already found it within the budget.
your points were taken. Before I go second time, Mr. Maraca.
I haven't even spoken, Your Worship.
Second? Sorry, I got your second time. Oh, you haven't done first time?
No.
Oh, sorry. So I'll get you, let Mr. Maraca.
Absolutely.
My philosophy, stop before the council. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, just for clarification, Mayor, I just don't want to minimize the question from Councillor Flaspohler. The sole sourcing, when staff bring forward a sole sourcing request, it usually comes from the manager, then it gets to the CAO, and they have to justify why we would go down and single source this. And even if I approve it, it's still got to get past Vitali. So Vitali and I would have a conversation. If Vitali had real concerns and stuff like that, there are reasons to sole source when time and when the suppliers are of essence, right? So it is a very good question. But the thing is when we look at these things, there are times that we don't try to go against competitive bid, because competitive bidding, the majority of the time, will give you better prices. We do our due diligence when we recommend sole source. Okay.
You spoke before, sir. You were the first speaker, but go ahead. I'll let you go second time before I say anything.
You're the
Go ahead.
best. You're the best, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much.
I keep my notes.
I think it's clear. I want to thank staff really for doing the due diligence. This isn't new. It's been in the budget for a couple of years. It's been flagged. We knew we did a pre-approval on this. I'll be supporting the recommendation as one of the sole providers of this. We recognized previously that we weren't sure whether or not it was going to even meet CSA standards the year before. We recognized that. We knew it was coming. We knew it was going to be, we budgeted $175,000. It's the right time. I appreciate my colleagues' comments. We've done 5 or 6 kind of sole sourcings. Those are key recommendations that we look to staff for. We've heard they've done their full due diligence. This isn't a surprise tonight. This is part of our budgeting process that was pre-approved, as my colleague so eloquently pointed out. So I'll be supporting the recommendation to ensure that our children are safe in our community, and that we can get this done ASAP, get the order in, get it approved. I'm sure as soon as this is approved tonight, that Rob can go and call them and say, let's get her in line, let's get her done. So I think the seasons for activities in our #1 community park are going to be on us before you can imagine. Thank you, Worship.
Thank you, Councillor Nelson. I really appreciate it. That's why Councillor Flaspohler is known in the community or called by a person with the books. And I appreciate it. I really appreciate this council. Different point of view. That's what makes us healthy. That's what makes everybody smart and keeps them on their toes. Because nobody knows what somebody's going to say, how they're going to research, how they're going to bring the point. I've spoken very few times, and there's hardly anything when myself and our CEO don't talk during the working days if we can get to see each other. He's busy with his business, I'm busy with my business. Even our doors are not even 3 feet apart from each other. And but the reason is, the point I wanted to make it is, when I was not mayor, the staff used to soul search. Hey, can you come somebody to open the tender? Can you come open the tender? Nobody's available. Now, I don't think you people have, council member, ever had a call, maybe once in the 38, 39 month, because I'm always here, I open the tender. The point I'm trying to make is there is not any tender comes within the budget, you believe it or not. When I open the tender, and me and CEO have talked, and the director, million times, if not more, what we going to do? And that was another issue with the premier last week. Every time we open the tender, it's way over the budget. How are we going to carry the business of the community? I'm going to support this. I'm going to let it go. Number one, the people have done a lot of work. Number two, it's within the budget. I don't want to send it out. And the tender I come open, it's over $200,000, even 25. It's 30, 40, 50% over budgeted, you know. And so I hear you, Councillor Flaspohler. I support 100% your theory. You're correct. We should stay in the public with the policies, and that's the reason we had the policy. But sometimes the policy, most of the time, are made for the benefit of our community. If getting off once in a blue moon of the policy, bypassing the policy, help you, I will support that. And I concur what Mr. CEO has said. And CFO, we are so lucky to have these people. If I say, okay, go ahead, CEO would question me then, even though he will bring the request to me. If we both say yes, our CFO would question both of us. So trust me, it's not taken any lightly. And without further ado, I'm going to call the question. All in favor of this, please. Oppose, if any? Carried unanimously. And 6. Margaret-Anne, Committee of the Whole, please.
The committee recommendation that pursuant to Committee of the Whole Council Report Number 1, 2026, presentation from Margaret-Anne Enders and Robert Fahoum regarding the proposed city actions for Gaza be received, and the council go on record for encouraging positive change and peace between Palestine and Israel.
So moved.
I need seconder, moved and seconded. Any question, discussion? Please, Councillor Moses.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I want to thank Robert, Margaret-Anne, and the rest of their team for coming and presenting to us. I really also appreciate the motion and wordsmithing that Councillor Nelson did for this. I just want to point out that their team wanted us to have much stronger wording regarding ongoing genocide and apartheid in Gaza. But I think that what we've accomplished is wanting to ensure that positive change happens, regardless of any difference in views that anyone may have. We want positivity, and we want health and safety. Yeah, thank you, Worship.
No, I was unfortunately not there, like I said in the beginning of the meeting. And Margaret-Anne contacted me way back. And I told usually people to contact with Mr. Cope, and he'll come to me once the agenda is prepared. And the delegation was set, but unfortunately I couldn't be there. And this is one of the best resolution. And I would urge at the same time, unofficially, when council members are going to UBCM and NCLJ, it's down the road in May and in September, I believe, please try to talk to the people, your colleagues and everybody, and that's the way to do it. And we had numerous gatherings in the community time to time. And I have attended, I believe, most of them, Councillor Moses, if I correctly remember. And along with him, I have attended most of the gathering. And definitely I stand with the community, the people thinking The genocide have to stop. Only God, Mother Nature have the power to give the life and take the life away. None of us politicians, regardless what level you are, we don't have the right. And these political things has to stop. We have to respect. But I support the resolution on the floor. No more the question or comment. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried unanimously. Artificial Intelligence Policy number 236.
Committee recommendation that pursuant to the Committee of the Whole Council Report number 2, 2026, and the report of the corporate officer dated January 14th, 2026, Council approve the proposed new artificial intelligence policy.
I need moved and seconded by Councillor Nelson. Who's seconding? Councillor Moses. Any comment, Mr. Nelson?
Yeah, thank you very much, Your Worship. There's no doubt that IA is taking the world over. Just look at the stock market. The top 10 are IL-related companies in the trillions of dollars, and it's changing dramatically in front of us. It's amazing what's taking place. So this policy is really to start to adapt our organization and to incorporate some of the changes that's taking place very quickly. I think that we have to embrace AI, but we have to also be cautious at the same time. So I'm supportive, and I'm still, hey, how you doing, Mr. Mayor? Scotty, pick up the phone kind of a guy. So AI is changing everything that everybody does. And so I think that we need to recognize that, ensure that there's a protection behind it that's going to ensure the safety for our community as well. I think this starts to lay out the foundation. And I'm sure that as AI changes, that it's going to create some changes inside that policy as well. But it starts to create the template and the base for opportunities of change. Thank you, Worship.
Councillor Lyon and then Councillor Flaspohler.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I won't go into the whole spiel that I would at the Committee of the Whole, but until we get a handle on the environmental impacts of AI, I'm not in support of it, so I'll be staying with that. I do understand there's a lot of pros to it, but as it stands right now, there's a lot of cons, and they are just kind of compiling, and they're not really working on solutions towards those just yet.
Thank you. Councillor Flaspohler.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, I'll just kind of reiterate the stuff that I stated during the Committee of the Whole Council meeting, and that's just being, technology is changing so quickly, and we have to be as cognizant of that and ahead of the game as much as possible. So I just, complimented staff on being proactive in creating this policy, because at least we've got one in play, and then we can try and stay as current as we can with the rapid changes that are happening in society with all things. It kind of reflects even to some of the previous items we've discussed. So it's just really important that we have a policy in place, and I just want to thank staff for that. Thank you.
Councillor Moses.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I believe that the use of artificial intelligence is going to happen with or without our policy in place. So I think what we're aiming for here with this policy is to ensure that there's responsible use of artificial intelligence, to make sure that there's not an overusage of it, and to ensure that we're being effective and efficient with it, but not excessive with it. To have the least negative effect regarding the amount that we're using it, but also regarding ensuring that we're keeping our human aspect of the work that we're doing. Because as our CAO has pointed out, we're really fortunate here to have a team full of professionals at the city. So we're obviously going to continue to utilize that embarrassment of wealth that we have here, that great skill set, but we're just providing them with an extra tool with some guidance to hopefully use it in a way that we can be supportive of. So thank you, Your Worship.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir. Councillor Bain, any comment from you?
Thank you, Worship. Yeah, I think too, it's going to happen. It's like, AI is coming. So I think it's good to have a start on a policy. I think it's going to bend and weave as time goes on, and whether we do or don't, but I'm fine with the policy for now, and we'll see what comes up, because I feel like it's going to be every level of government. We're going to see stuff coming with AI, but at least it gives our staff a starting point.
Excellent. Thank you. It's a brand new policy. We're going to have some guideline for the community, for the city, I'm not saying this policy is the best policy, but staff has come, but thanks to Mr. Maraca, his leadership and his team, staff is doing what they're doing. And definitely, I would like to add that we should come back after a certain time and to review the policy. What are your thoughts on this, council member? Think within a year or whatever? Mr. Maraca, go ahead, please.
Your worship, just to Ross, I think that's already written into the policy that it's a review period,
Is
is
it?
it not? Yeah, I think that we had something. wording in there.
Yeah, I didn't, I should have read it. I didn't see it, but just requesting. Put some time,
But if
if
there's-
not, make it.
I don't believe there's nothing built into the policy.
Okay, if not,
On this one?
I would add, if it's friendly amendment to the mover seconder, the policy be reviewed after a year or within a year or whatever.
Or updated. Friendly
Thank you.
amendment.
Thank you, if it's okay, yeah, thanks. Mr. Maraca, please.
Yeah, your worship, I'd recommend 1 year because we're going to go into this slowly. We have staff training, we
yes.
have staff orientation.
Of course.
You're not going to see it used as a tool very much in the first little bit time here, so.
Point well taken. That's why I suggested I'm not going to be fussy with the time, but a year would be excellent, I think. You agree with that year? Okay, well, 1 year, please. Policy be reviewed year. And thanks to the mover and seconder allowing me to add this. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried unanimously. Letter of support requested from the Brain Injury Association.
Clerks note that pursuant to the request of the Cariboo Brain Injury Association in their letter dated January 13th, 2026, Council provide a letter to the CBIA in support of their initiative to have a permanent office facility established in Williams Lake to help improve the lives of survivors and caregivers in the Cariboo.
So moved.
Moved and second again, this letter came to me and rather than, even though council have given me the blank check to write a letter on your behalf, but sometimes I feel it's important for the council to see what mayor's office is writing the letter. We could have done it without council resolution, but it was my request to the staff to do it this way. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried unanimously. Letter from Consus Management Limited to Route on First Facility.
Clerks note that the letter from Consus Management Limited dated January 16th, 2026 regarding concerns around and impacts to their adjacent property that have arisen since the opening of the Roots on First shelter facility be received for information.
Moved and seconded, Councillor Nelson.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. This is this quite frankly is a very disturbing letter. And it's the concern that this council raised prior to the opening of Roots on First. The very issue that we made it clear. Now, I think the community knows I didn't support it, nor did the mayor. But the repercussions of having that shelter down there is now starting to have significant impacts. This is another letter from another business that very clearly has indicated that we've got serious problems with regards to Roots on First. I'm going to read one line out of here, and I think it sums it up the best. This letter is intended to formally document the ongoing escalating impacts to our property, our staff, and all operations that have arisen since the approval and the operation of this facility, and to request immediate action to accommodate from the city. It was this city council that approved that. And the very issue that 70 businesses raised was the concern that when people left that shelter, what was going to happen? Well, it's terrible. And the businesses in the downtown core are feeling that impact. In the last week, one of the banks texted me and said, we're going to have to lock our doors down full time now. Because the homeless, when they went in there at 6 o'clock in the morning, there was 5 homeless people with 2 shopping carts full of goodies, drug paraphernalia all over, 4 guys passed out, a propane tank, and a heater going inside of it. They broke the lock. This is the 10th time they broke the lock going into the ATM machine. That Monday, they kicked the door in on one of our downtown businesses. Yesterday, I visited a business in the downtown core, and they're having to put up a fence 8 feet, $9,000, because there's so many homeless people running through there. This is the same business that had their hydrometer smashed off, that they had to pay a couple $1,000s to fix. This is the same business that they tore the boards off and lit a fire in their yard. This is the same business that they burnt part of the handicap wheelchair accessibility. We got a big problem, and the homeless are causing that problem in the downtown core. Now, this council approved that location. This council listened to 60 to 70 business people say, if you're going to do it, we need to ensure that our businesses are protected. Because what's going to happen when they come outside that facilities? Who's going to clean up the garbage? Who's going to clean up the drug paraphernalia? Who's going to look after these people that need this support? Well, do you know what's happening? The downtown businesses are having to pick up the slack because we have failed to do what we're supposed to do, and that's to protect the downtown core. We got a big problem. So just to receive this and say that's fantastic isn't even moving forward to adjust to help to clean up this. I recognize we put some money into that, but it's much more out of control than I realize. So I guess a question to the staff after I've read this report or this letter from the downtown core businesses, and this is just in the last week that I've gotten these messages from these other businesses. We've got some serious issues of people coming out of those facilities doing exactly what the 70 businesses that came before this council was concerned about. If you're going to put that roots on first and approve it, please protect our businesses and ensure the safety of our staff down there. A year later, all hell's breaking loose. So I guess the question to the staff is that I know we put money in, and it's helped to a certain degree, but BC Housing has washed their hands and said, hey, look, I remember clearly when he stood before us that they're not responsible for outside the parameters. And that was the concern that was being raised. How are we going to address this issue to ensure that we can meet the needs of the business community in the downtown core and the safety of the public in the downtown core and the garbage and the litany of stuff that is coming from Roots on First? We're now getting more and more letters, more and more businesses now coming forward saying we got problems. So before it completely is out of control, what can we do? And I think I'll leave that to the CAO, because I'm not satisfied by just receiving note and filing this as a letter. We need to put some action behind this, because as a council, we approved it. So we need to make sure that we are going to back our community and our businesses and our downtown core. So I'm looking for action that's going to help solve this problem. Because if I had my way, I'd shut it down. But I don't have my way, so we have to find solutions that are going to help the businesses before they shut down. Thank you, Your Worship.
Mr. Maraca.
Thanks, Your Worship. To Councillor Nelson, I think the operator is doing what they can. They have we have a meeting scheduled tomorrow, and to say that it is, well, I mean, with Williams Lake having a population of 100 people in various stages of being unhoused and stuff like that, to say it's Roots or to say it's on all the unhoused population is probably not accurate. We have 5 to 10 probably prolifics that are doing what's happening in the downtown core, and that's the concerning thing. And I think we work really well with the RCMP. They're well aware of it, including, you mentioned the businesses downtown that had their windows smashed the other day. There is camera footage that's an open investigation. I do believe it's not the 38 people that are being in Roots, it's the hangarounds. It's the ones that are going to hang in behind Councillor Lyons' building in that alley, and they're just seeing their friends, they're passing stuff. But when we talk about the damage and we talk about all those things, it's the stuff that happens inside Roots is on their property. They're maintaining that. It's the effects of it spreading out. And like I said, the people coming into that area. One of the things as BC Housing did say is, yes, we're not responsible for stuff that happens outside our facilities. They absolutely did say that. I remember that. But what the operator did say is the operator says, well, we are going to be good community neighbors and we are going to send out our street nurses. We're going to do this sort of thing and we're going to make sure we educate. We're going to move people around. We're going to do this sort of stuff. And that was their intent. And that's the question that I have for them tomorrow. And I think that they are committed to doing that. It's like everything else that I don't know if they've been able to recruit the staff to be able to do that. As for what can we do? I mean, as a solution, I think that staff can bring forward some suggestions with working with the RCMP, working with the operator, working with BC Housing and seeing what we can do. But it's just, it's a systemic thing. And I think that we should be looking more at the ones, the 5 to 10, and how we're going to get them that the help they need to not keep doing the things that they're doing. This is not the one just lying in the park that's passed out or anything like that. These are the ones that get into a rage or different areas of psychosis that are just doing, there's no rehabilitating them without professional help. And we know the names. I can tell you all the names of the people that should not be out there doing what they're doing, but it's just, the system isn't in place to be able to help with those things.
Would it be a favorable amendment to add that staff bring back a report and an update for this community and that this letter stay on the council table so that we can find the solutions?
I'll ask if it's okay with the mover and seconder. Who was the mover? Okay, he was the mover, so Mr. Moses second. So it's okay with the seconder? Oh, sorry, Flaspohler, it's okay to add, to bring the report back after the meeting tomorrow?
Could I get that restated? What was it? That
Councillor Nelson, you're the mover. Councillor Moses was seconded to receive the information. Councillor Nelson is saying if we could request the staff to report back to council after having the meeting tomorrow with the partners or stakeholders. Are you okay with that?
yeah, as the seconder, right? I'm the seconder. That's what you
You're the
indicated.
mover, you're the mover, Councillor Moses seconded. Please.
Your worship, not putting words in Councillor Nelson's mouth, but I don't think you're not looking just for an update of what I talked to you're looking for how are we going to take proactive steps to address the concerns in the downtown core with regards to street disorder, littering, feces, smashed windows, damage to the businesses. You're asking for us what's our next step after council has already committed $100,000 to additional policing. There's supposed to be boots on the ground. You're asking how are we going to make sure BC Housing is being part of the solution?
Yes.
Look, I know we're not shutting it down, but at the same time, there is a responsibility as a province to backstop this. And that's the issue that I'm getting at. They already destroyed the other part of town and they burnt half of the Hamilton Inn down. So that mess has still got to be cleaned up. This is now starting to become a big issue in our community. And I guess, quite frankly, I'm trying to get it buttoned up before it gets so out of control. And at the same time, you hit it right on the head. This is a provincially run facilities. They stood in front of this community and made the commitment that they would ensure that they would do everything possible. That's why council took the risk. That risk is not turning out to be in our favor right now. And so to turn around and say, hey, we got to add 5 bylaw. If we need to put 5 bylaw, then the province needs to buck up. That's got to be the cost. I don't think that, as one lady said to me, I love being in the downtown core, but my job is not to come in here and clean up needles and wipe crap off my door handles because they've crapped all over my windows and doors. That's not my job. I got it. But it's become to the point where it's frustrating and it's getting so out of control again. And Gary, you're right. It is a core 5 to 8 people that is causing the problems, that is ruining it for everybody else. So I'm looking for help from the province to pay for these costs. And I agree with you. This council is on record. Those guys should not be on the streets. When they do the damages that they do right now, they should not be on the streets of Williams Lake or in any other community, because that is part of our crime problem. That is part of our safety problem. And there is a responsibility that lies with the provincial government. And this is their responsibility. And so it's time to buck up and start looking after the issues that they've created in our downtown core. Thank you. Worship.
Before I go to the speaker list, just to reiterate what you asked for, Councillor Fahoum and Mr. Shio was with me last week. It will be week tomorrow. We met the Premier. This was on the list.
Great.
And you know, you are equally part and parcel of this council. Nobody better than council can push for those issues when we are dealing with the provincial government. I'm not going to bother calling or anybody Premier's office tomorrow. I'll give him a week. A week from tomorrow, I'm going to call him once we had 2 weeks. So for my response, let's see where he said what they are doing. If not, I'll do something next Wednesday, not tomorrow, because we have only 1 week. And I think Premier probably met a lot of people like Williams Lake Council and the staff, and he probably have to digest everything before he respond. And I can assure the council on your behalf, 4 or 5 of us was there. We did our best we could, and because you gave us energy, you gave us the power to do that. We represented you, and both my member of the delegation, Councillor Fahoum and Mr. Maraca, can verify that. Even Chief Seller was with me. He can verify that, how we did it. I got Councillor Flaspohler, Councillor Line, then Councillor Moses.
Oh, my mic's still on. Thank you, Your Worship. I'm happy to hear my colleague agree with Mr. Maraca and stating that it's like the 5 to 8 individuals that seem to be doing the most, damage to the community, damage for these businesses, damage that is being observed by our community. So how do we blame Roots on First for that? Tell me that. This one letter that we've received, tell me how all of the issues impacting our community and our downtown core is because of that shelter. Why did, before the shelter was even in the location that it is, why did on April 22nd, 2025, we had a special council meeting discussion regarding homeless and community safety concerns? We called a meeting, it was so bad. How come on May 27th, 2025, we all of a sudden make a statement that we need to do a state of local emergency for public safety? That was before this shelter existed there. So I'm sorry, but we're having impacts already in this community and in the downtown core. And I don't think anybody in this room can deny that. So I think as a council, I don't want to be blamed for the choices, because in all honesty, the choice of supporting having this shelter was because this shelter had the capacity to create area and communal spaces for individuals to be able to socialize, so they weren't hanging around businesses. They weren't hanging around in alleyways. That was the whole point of it. So blaming Roots on First, I feel, is not correct. Now, I personally went down to the company that sent this letter, and I went and had a meeting and a face-to-face and a discussion, because I really wanted to know what they were experiencing, because I truly do care. And I asked, do you know if this is people coming from Roots on First to your building and causing these issues? And they don't know that per se. It could be the people that are not allowed in the shelter or have been told to leave the shelter because they were being not okay in their actions, and then they're setting up and now around their building. Do I want to support some answers on trying to make it better for these businesses? Absolutely, 100%. Because I agree with what my colleague stated, Councillor Nelson, is that was one of the reasons we supported it as a council, was because we were told that we were going to work as a community to make sure it worked for the businesses. And I really want to see that. So when I talked to the individual that wrote the letter, they said some of the things that they're impacted by is a lot of garbage accumulation. There's no garbage cans out on that street frontage. Maybe that's something when staff have discussions you can come up with. Maybe it's more placement of some garbage cans. We have a parking lot there. Maybe that will assist. Lighting can be a bit of an issue, they said, in the wintertime because their staff is feeling uncomfortable leaving or going to work when it's dark. So maybe lighting's something that we could look at in the vicinity near that shelter. I just think that we have the ability to come into some proactive answers, and we have to work as a team for it. So I'm glad to hear that staff already have an intended meeting. Otherwise, I was going to do a recommendation that a meeting be coordinated between city staff, RCMP, Canadian Mental Health, the Downtown Business Association in regards to addressing concerns from businesses in the downtown core. Because I definitely want to see that this functions well for everyone because it's supposed to alleviate the impacts. As Mr. Maraca mentioned, you know, we can't say that these individuals that are impacting this business are the individuals, the 30 people that are in the shelter not doing anything to our community. And we have to just make sure that we're looking at it with those eyes because we know every community is being impacted by these challenges and individuals that are choosing to be violent and damaging. And we don't want to see that. So I want to support this business, but I also want to support Roots on First because I believe it's essential right now. Every community is experiencing this. The fact that we had these meetings before it was even positioned there proves that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Anne, please.
Thank you. I came directly from a BIA meeting on a very similar topic to this on my way here, and the chamber presented us with the results from a BC BIA survey, which I believe they want to speak on as well. But largely what we're seeing these problems coming down to, you touched on it exactly, that we were having these issues before Roots became a thing. I know, at least for us, these repeat offenders, we're seeing the same ones that we saw last year, the year before that, and they're the same ones that are coming in and causing problems around us now. So I won't touch too much on it, but one thing I really, really want to say, one thing that stood out to me in the survey was that the amount of businesses that do not report petty nonviolent crimes, and I am begging every business, please call non-emergency every time there is a non-violent crime. Every call gets logged. We need those numbers when we go to lobby the government, when we're talking about repeat offenders, because they don't see the effects that repeat offenders have on businesses unless we call it in and let people know. Sitting back afterwards and taking a survey that says, yeah, we keep experiencing this, but we don't report it. Well, if you're not reporting it, I get that you're frustrated. I am frustrated too. I'm sure the police are frustrated. Everybody is frustrated. But if we're not reporting it, it's not getting recorded. We can't take those numbers with us and we can't say, hey, repeat offenders, this is a big problem that is costing millions and millions of dollars to independent businesses. But again, like since the shelter's been up, I believe our fire calls have gone way down. Like that was our biggest fear last year, is how many times were we getting calls about fires being started everywhere, and now we're not seeing that because fewer people are outside trying to stay warm. We have a lot of these people that they come in after hours into the store and they just want to warm up for a minute. They're polite, they're kind, I don't have to worry about them. But the ones that I have been seeing for the last few years, I know full well, no, you walk through the door, get out, because I know exactly how this is going to go. And it's always the same ones. And more often than not, they are not inside the shelter because they're banned from the shelter because they are violent, they are committing petty crimes, they're causing problems. It's the repeat offenders that we have to focus on and not the shelters.
Thank you, Councillor Anne. And Mr. Moses, please.
Worship.
Oh,
I'm on my first time. Thank you, Your Worship. Those are some great points by my colleague. Firstly, I want to point out that it isn't the same people who stay at Roots on First that are causing these repeat offending crimes. For one, the major repeat offenders do not stay at Roots on First because they long ago wore out their welcome there. It's also as simple as considering that they cannot be at two places at once at nighttime. I also want to point out that the meetings between Canadian Mental Health Association, the city, and the neighbors regarding this letter hasn't even taken place yet. So I really think that this probably should have been on our agenda for next week and not this one. But it sounds like it's going to come back, so that's good at least. We're going to have some good before and after thought processes from our staff, and that's nothing but good can come from that. I'm sure that when we have the CMHA staff, the city staff in the same room, that good work is going to be accomplished. The goal will be that our organizations together should be able to find the best responses and proactive steps for everyone to get the services required, be it the tenants of Roots on First or their neighbors. Only good will come from those communications, and with the city and Canadian Mental Health improving their teamwork for the betterment and safety of our community, that this is something that we really need, because there needs to be improvement in these situations. We can all see it. Regardless of what side we are on this argument, we can see that improvement is needed. Also, keep in mind that without projects like Roots on First, there would be potential for tent encampments of upward of 100 people in our community. So we need projects like this, because I prefer that we do our best to keep everyone sheltered ourselves, rather than having to continually displace a group of people that are already having a very rough time. I do agree with Councillor Nelson that if we have to hire more bylaw officers, that it needs to be the province who pays for this. I haven't been in total agreement about all of the downloading to us. Some of it I do, some of it I don't, but enough is enough. This is not something that we can continue to pay for. Our budget is as tight as ever, and if we want to do better than this, it's going to require even some more funds, and that should not be from our budget. But I do want to see the improvement, so let's figure out as a team between all these organizations, like my colleague mentioned, that we need to see an action plan for improvement and then figure out how to bill the province for it. Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you very much, Councillor Nelson. Second time, please.
Thank you very much. Well, I'm glad we're in agreement that there's a problem. It's what we're going to do to help solve that problem. And I think we all recognize clearly that the people that are inside Roots, that stay inside the Roots, aren't the ones that are causing the problem. We know that. The ones that are causing the problems aren't allowed to stay there because they're banned.
Yes.
Let's get the facts on the table here. We don't hear these same problems from other nonprofit organizations just down the street. I've had 0 letters about those organizations. Mm-hmm. This is a government-funded facilities. And when council took the risk and made the decision, and we listened to the 70 business people, their one top issue was that if you're going to put that in that location, what are we going to do to protect the neighborhoods? So when you read these letters, and this isn't the only letter that we've got, the mall that's in behind it has put tens of thousands of dollars of new fencing. They just finished last week covering up the meters and the staircases because everybody was sleeping under the staircases. This letter that's in front of us, they're looking at a cost to put another fence with barbed wire on the top. They've had to change the electrical outlets on the outside because they kept plugging their equipment into it. We have a problem. And it's how we're going to take action to address it. We got to get out of the happy bubble zone. This is a big issue that is continuing to grow. This company that wrote this letter, he hit it right on the head. They're feeling the impacts. These are small businesses that are in the downtown core that are feeling the massive impacts because the provincial government fails to look after the homeless people of the province of BC. They download it onto communities and say, hey, we're going to back in, let's put this facilities in here. Well, that's great. But it's now starting to cost us community, livability, and safety. So if the report comes back, I'm looking for action And if there's a bill that's going to be attached to it, the province needs to buck up to ensure that that's part of this. And I agree with my colleague, Councillor Moses, that this is a significant download. We know that it's going to cost us more money. But in order to get this under control, we're going to need the province on side to open up the checkbook. And I know they don't have very much left. So we're going to have to take a few bucks because we want to get this under control sooner than later.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Flaspohler, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just one quick little extra piece. You know, we put this $100,000 towards supporting RCMP to be able to support the businesses downtown because these properties are private. That becomes trespassing, right? And that was part of why this council supported that initiative as well. So I just want to make sure that through those talks, those things are discussed as well so that we know that these businesses that are really reaching out, RCMP have them on their radar so that they're supporting them if these are the businesses that are getting the most impacted. That's all. I just want to reiterate that we're doing that. Thank you.
Mr. Baraka, please.
Thanks, Your Worship. So the RCMP have been boots on the ground. They've met with the people in the community. They set up a meeting just before Christmas where they called all the businesses over to the fire hall. Anybody that was interested to attend, they didn't think there was a lot of people that did attend, but it was the first one. That will increase. They have been strategizing of what possibly could happen going forward, and we'll bring those possible suggestions from the RCMP back to council when we bring back the report. I am aware that we do have some of the prolifics in mind, and some of them are on the Revoy list. One individual, a female, that I think everybody will know who I'm talking about without mentioning it. She's now incarcerated in Prince George from stealing a vehicle from the pool, not to mention everything else she's stolen in town. She was done now, she's back in town. Well, then that's recent. But there is another one that's known to police, and he is going on the Revoy list because he is being kind of suggested that he's done some work downtown. So the cops are active downtown, but again, just how Councillor Lyons just said, back out. But like the RCMP are getting their $100,000 and back out. They're doing their work. I can't say enough good things. I mean, you just look around town. You're not seeing the encampments. You're not seeing all these issues. I mean, when was the last time besides one at Tim Hortons that we routinely have to get? And we're working with Tim Hortons to make sure they clean up their pallets and their garbage cans. Like some of the businesses have to be aware that they can be part of the solution by putting up lighting, by doing some of these things. And Tim Hortons, we've talked to them a million times in downtown, lock up your pallets, lock up your cardboard, because every time they don't, that night it ends up in our park above the Stampede grounds in a nice little cabin with a nice view. So yeah, there's things that the RCP are working with, and they've met with the community. They met with the mall, Hodgson Mall, to talk about lighting and stuff like that, about moving garbage cans, make suggestions. And Brad's frustrations are is that when they do meet with the businesses and they do SEPTED things where they make suggestions, he's not seeing the businesses following up with the advice he's giving them, and he'd like to see that more. So the $100,000 we are spending, it's being used well, and I will stand by what the RCMP are doing with that money. So.
And just for council's sorry, are you done or?
Yeah. Okay, go ahead, sir.
I just want everybody to know this point, I could not insist more what we did it on $100,000 extra out of nowhere to the premier last week. And people attended with me, they would verify that. I got a council line, please. I got a very important, after that speaker to speak. Go ahead, make your point, please.
Thank you. I was just, Mr. Morocco basically covered everything I was about to say. I was going to say that, yeah, the RCMP have been coming in every couple of days just to do checks, just to follow up and to ask how it's going and to be like, we're being very visible. We're coming around to the ones that we know are having issues. So they've been awesome.
They've been fantastic.
Where I get the first call in the morning every day, 99.999% of the business people, we've been broken, we've been this, we've been that. Because my phone is so available to anybody and everybody. Most of the time, I'm still in the bed when people call me. I mean it. 5:30, I start receiving phone call. And if nobody else called me, I tell you, Councillor Nelson's the first person in the morning to send me the message, hey, this thing happened, or to Mr. Margaret-Anne and me, because people call him too. Whatever the reason they call him. I receive a lot of, but I couldn't agree with you more. My request publicly to the community is don't take the law in your hand. When something happens, please call the law enforcement people. They will have the stat, they will come to the council, will go to the province. We will take the necessary action, whatever we can. That's my plea to everybody in the community, everybody watching. Now, I've been advised a million times, and in order for them today that I can use mayor's power, veto power. I'm not Donald Trump, that I can let anybody to speak. I'm going to request business community representative, people from the Chamber of Commerce are here. Without asking the council, I'm going to let them come to the stage and say something, what they feel, how they feel. Ms. Erdeplinger, please. I thought you was the next for the next item, but sorry putting you on the spot for this item. Yeah, could you turn the on, please? This arrow. Thank you. No,
That one.
thank you.
I'm Vanessa Rippling. I'm the president of the Chamber of Commerce. Mara is our executive director, and Sandy Jesse is our second vice president. So we have actually been doing some work on this particular topic, and Tamara has been working on a policy position for the Chamber of Commerce. We're going to be going and presenting on something like this. We just did meet with the Downtown Business Association to look for input on this particular subject. Just as an executive quick summary around the non-violent crime, which would include your theft, vandalism, fraud, chronic disorder, that is escalating, especially across BC, and it is disproportionate with impacts on small rural British Columbia and small urban communities. And so listening to what you're speaking to, the issues around the nonviolent repeat crime is increasing across BC, and unmistakably there's huge pressure on businesses, especially the small and medium size. And there's we are looking at a lot of the, I'm just trying to get to where we are, what the chamber, we're looking at recommendations to the government around this. And we're looking at expanding we're asking them to look at expanding the repeat violence offender intervention initiatives, or establishing a complementary program to include chronic nonviolence repeat offenders. That would include eligibility should be based on a demonstrated pattern of repeat theft, vandalism, and fraud, chronic disorder, and a focus on individuals who are behaviors generating persistent economic harm. Program should integrate enforcement, judicial oversight, and mandate access to supportive services. So that's one of the things that we are looking at. We're asking to develop a provincial-wide business crime report and feedback system in partnership with the BC Chamber of Commerce Business Improvement Area of British Columbia, local governments, law enforcement, and the system should, we're hoping, standardize reporting, improve data quality and trends, and analyze it, and provide meaningful feedback loops to report to businesses, and enhance accountability and transparency. That would also be including local government, and this would be giving some information back on what's happening. We're also asking around funding, which Councillor Nelson had spoke to, funding pilot prevention and intervention models tailored to local context. So priority should be given to rural and small urban communities to test scalable approaches, which would include community safety liaison programs, restorative justice initiatives tied to restitution, and other programs linked to treatment, housing, and employment supports, and place-based interventions focused on repeat hotspot locations. So really looking at where that's taking in our particular community, downtown areas. Establish a provincial business crime task force. The task force, we would hope, would assess economic impacts annually, analyze repeat non-violence crime trends, evaluate program effectiveness, and provide evidence-based recommendations on enforcement priorities, legislative tools, and resources allocations. So we're asking the province to look at that. Repeat non-violent crime is not a low-level nuisance. It's a systematic economic and community sustainable issue, particularly in rural British Columbia. It's a modern province response. It must move beyond incidents and enforcement and towards a data-driven, coordinated, and preventable. We need solutions. It has to be strategic, and it needs to be a strategic investment. And we're hoping this will protect businesses, and it needs to stabilize downtown, reinforce public confidence in community safety, and deliver measurable returns for British Columbia and the province. So these are some of the things that we're looking at right now. Tamara's done a fantastic job of getting this together. This is our starting point. This is where we think it should be coming from. We're looking for input. How this works is we will then go to our community. We're looking for that input. We have about a month to get our policy together. It will be presented to the BC Chamber of Commerce. We will be asking the BC Chamber of Commerce, the other, and that is also Board of Trades, to back this particular policy. And then it will be put up as a policy from the BC Chamber if we can get that backing. We have a lot of government industry, our government people there. So, and we have a lot of pull with government if it does go to the BC Chamber of Commerce, ministers, premiers, because it does represent the province and the business. It's the voice of business from the BC communities. So we do get a lot of support, and we get listened to when that happens. And it also sometimes then will even go as far as the Canadian Chamber, from the BC Chamber. These policies can be, if it's a countrywide problem, it can then move up to the Canadian Chamber of Commerce, and then it does go to federal. So we talk about needing those funds from the government. It can just keep going up. So this is something we're working on right now. We will be having conversations, and we will be looking for input. So that would be more of Tamara that would be reaching out, and we will have task force, and we have policy committees. So that's what we're working on right now, and this is our first steps in this.
Thank you. I really appreciate the input and your efforts to resolve this. Like I always said, nobody can resolve anything by themselves. No mayor, no council, no CEO. We need to work together. I can assure you this council is unanimous on these issues. UBCM, we spoke to Attorney General or Deputy Premier, Nikki Sharma, Honorable Nikki Sharma, and we are pushing for it. But we need all of us, law enforcement, business community, Chamber of Commerce, BIA, we all have to work together. Working together is the only way to resolve this issue. I'm sure we will. I cannot assure you more than what I'm saying. I hope my words can assure you this council is unanimous to dealing with this issue. They wanted to deal and put it behind our shoulder.
We did present
Yeah.
earlier to the BIA. We weren't
Yes,
expecting to present here.
Thank you. I really appreciate your effort, Vanessa. And I got Councillor Flaspohler, please.
Thank you, Your Worship.
Thank you, Vanessa.
I just want to say to you guys, thank you so much, like 100%. I love hearing solutions. I hate complaining. And you guys are coming up with answers and a direction, and I commend you on that because these are such challenging times for all of us. So I'm just so happy to hear proactive, positive direction, and I just commend you guys. I think it's great. You've got my support like massively for anything moving forward because I think you've got some really great ideas on some good momentum that could go across Canada because we know it's everywhere. It's not just here. So I'm happy to hear what you guys are doing. It's amazing. Thanks.
Hey, Councillor Nelson, please.
Thanks very much, and very supportive of the initiatives, and it's good to have the chamber taking a lead role in this. It has massive impacts. Small community businesses are the backbone of our economy. It's critical, and it's amazing how 5 to 8 individuals that are prolific offenders are creating chaos in our downtown core. And we know what the problem is. We've identified what the problem is. It's how we're going to get the province to give us the bucks to help to clean this mess up. This council is committed. We've put money behind it. We know what the problem is. We don't need to do study and analysis. We can tell you who the 5 to 8 individuals are. You heard tonight from the CEO. I can tell you exactly who they are. So they're the ones that are giving Roots on First the bad name because this community supported it. But it's creating havoc inside this community. So it's the 5 to 8 in Williams Lake. It's probably 50 to 100 in Vancouver, probably 30 to 40 in Kamloops. Every community has the issue. We're just putting our foot down and saying, that's it, no more. Like, we want support from the province to ensure that this does not continue. And I think that's the message I'm trying to bring back, is that these small businesses, they need a hand. They're on a lifeline right now. So this extra burden of having to step into the social issues and clean up the crap off the door handles and pick up needles and do all these different things and put up fences, that's a cost that they shouldn't have to bear. That is the responsibility of the provincial government and the federal government, not of the municipality. That is a significant download. So I hope you understand where my sense and feeling comes from in terms, we know who they are. It's how we're going to address it. How you're going to get those 5 to 8 people into the right wraparound services to get them off the streets to perhaps save their lives. They're sick. We know that. The province needs to change the legislation to have them picked up, have them removed, and put into the wraparound services. Let's be honest, folks. Let's not dance around the issue. It's not going to go away until you put the right services in place.
We'll make sure those people go to Greenland and Mr. Trump can take over. I got Councillor Bain, please.
Thank you, Worship, and thanks, guys. Thanks. I mean, I know firsthand how much work the chamber does, and appreciate it so much. And I think I just want to reiterate for us, like, I think, we're there for you, and anything the city can do to move that along. And even while we talked earlier, and I saw you guys in the audience, that what the resolution, I mean, those are things like, I know you guys do resolutions and advocacy as well. And I think those are things we should be multi-pronging and looking at what resolutions we can do together or dovetail so that we're all kind of got that united voice that Councillor Nelson was talking about. And I think that that's a great thing. And as far as wraparound, of course, we all know that. When we did meet with the Premier last week, we brought up that fact that they've announced treatment centers. Like, I know the talk is to have one in Prince George, and we're all just hoping that we actually get a bed or two from Williams Lake. To your point, Councillor Nelson, about involuntary care, I think everybody recognizes that, but there's no beds anywhere. So it doesn't matter. We could go to emergency tomorrow and good luck trying to get someone a bed. So until we get those treatment center beds and stuff, I'm not sure. So I think we're all advocating. And now that they've announced that, his worship was there when I was pleading that we need to revamp training, and that's going to be my broken record of the year. I've said to everybody, and you're all going to hear it multiple times, that we need to revamp training, and that goes with trades, but also take nursing as my biggest, because that's what I went through. Nursing used to be a diploma program. You could do your degree with correspondence. That's what I did. I got a degree from UVic, and I never actually stepped on there. So I'm not against higher education, obviously, but it would be nice if a lot of our members of our community could train here, because I said to the Premier the other day, it actually keeps me up at night. I don't know how we're staffing. When I can't staff now, I had a patient a couple months, well, within a month or two, last couple of months, that was here for 3 weeks from Ontario, working here at the hospital. 3 weeks. I saw her over a 3-week period here, which is great for me. But I'm like, you're coming from Ontario. That's where we're getting our staff, like, let alone from international. So I would really like to see more training locally in lots of communities. And I know as part of the Provincial Health Board, I'm on the Provincial Health Committee as well. And I know that chair and I had already messaged her, she's well aware, and asked to meet with Minister Osborne at our next meeting. So my fingers are crossed. We don't always get those meetings we request, even at our level, but those are things we're working on. But until we can actually have beds somewhere, I hope but we're there for you. There's my little rant of the day, but I will be a broken record about healthcare advocacy and changes I think we all need to see. But anyway, good work. Thanks, guys.
Point well raised. I'm meeting tomorrow with the TRU Vice Chancellor and the President, and I think you're booked at the same time, so we'll raise that point once again. Thank you, folks. I really appreciate it. I think we have beaten enough to this issue.
So just
One more?
the recommendation, I just want to make sure, is we receive the report or the letter and the action. Ross could just explain to me what the action is.
Report back.
And that staff bring back a report on how to address the concerns as well as the broader street disorder.
Are you happy? Happy with the resolution? Mr. Maraca?
Your worship, I know that what we're supposed to do here, but I think you want a time period on this too, do you not, Councillor Nelson? Because as it gets warmer, we know these people aren't staying in the shelter. They're going to be
Correct.
ending up in the streets. They're coming outside in about 1 month.
And I just, my final comment is that I know the staff that work there work hard. Hearts are in the right spot. I'm focused squarely on the provincial government. I want to be clear on this. It is a provincial government mandate, and they have failed communities across the province. And it's not the staff. It is the provincial government that puts these into play, and then they walk away, and they leave the mess for communities to clean up. And quite frankly, I'm fed up with it. They have an accountability, and it's to buck up and then put the right services in place and look after these people. So I just want to be clear. Thank you, Worship.
Thank you. Yeah, downloading is done by the federal government, by the provincial government. I wish I had somebody to download from mayor's office. Unfortunately, there's nobody to take. I have to.
He's right there.
Oh, he get enough. Don't worry. He get enough. I mean, I don't think anybody else get it more than he get it from me. Anyway, all in favor of the resolution on the floor. Opposed, if any, carried unanimously.
Thank you, Worship.
Moving along, proclamation. Thank you, Chamber, waiting and helping. I thought it would be 7:30 here, but we run over late. Go ahead, sir.
Clerks note that pursuant to the request of the Williams Lake Chamber of Commerce dated January 12th, 2026, the week of February 9th to 13th, 2026 be proclaimed as Chamber of Commerce Week in the City of Williams Lake pursuant to city policy.
Second.
Moved and seconded. I know Chamber is having a good evening for every member, members appreciation evening. I believe it's February 12th, if I correctly remember, 5 to 7. I'll be definitely there, hopefully, if Mr. Maraca and my boss Kim didn't put me somewhere else. I'm looking forward to everybody come, yeah. And so all in favor? Opposed, if any, carried unanimously. Proclamation Heritage Week.
Clerks note that pursuant to the request of Heritage BC in their letter dated January 6th, 2026, the week of February 16th to 22nd, 2026 be proclaimed as Heritage Week in the City of Williams Lake pursuant to city policy.
So moved.
Moved and seconded, Councillor Nelson, Councillor Beam. Any question, concern? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed, if any, carried unanimously. City Hall lighting request.
Clerks note that pursuant to the request of the Parkinson Society, British Columbia, in their letter dated January 23rd, 2026, the lights of City Hall be changed to blue on April 11th, 2026 for World Parkinson Day.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any question, concern? All in favor? I'll come back. I know I goofed it. Sorry. There are two issues we have to come back. First one is council information package, please. No. Sorry. We will have a two late item now. I goofed, and my apology. One is late item. Councillor Flaspohler, you wanted to bring up something. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I thought it got kind of passed because it didn't happen in there, but I can bring this recommendation that I had
Let me
drafted.
try it, what you have.
Okay, and then it'll be up to council.
Yes.
So just in regards to the cameras that we have and the review that I did through the document, I just wanted to put a recommendation that says that staff provide a report to this council indicating that the previous project of placing cameras in the downtown core has been overviewed and approved by the city's legal firm to maintain compliance with the Provincial Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act.
I have no difficulty. Somebody wanted to second that?
No, I'm not second. It's a waste
Oh,
of time.
okay. Okay, hold on. Let me get a direction from the staff.
I'll wait till the second.
Okay, we cannot discuss unless I get a second on this motion, please. I'll, for the good, otherwise I was gonna go do the second for the sake of discussion. Now, staff, go ahead, please.
So your worship, through to the group, so the only thing I voiced some concern about is having anything approved by the city's legal firm. We don't have our lawyers approve things. They merely provide advice to council, so.
It was approved by the council, nothing approved by the,
Right, so
Can
that,
we amend that
yeah, so
then?
if
Okay.
you are considering something, I would not recommend having something subject to.
okay, fair
lawyer
enough.
approval.
So you didn't have it written. Could you read it again, please?
Yeah, I gave it to Mr.
Oh, you did it.
If council's okay with just be removing the,
Legal.
that has been reviewed and approved by the city's legal firm, I wouldn't
Just
recommend.
overviewed by the
Yeah,
city's,
Wouldn't recommend having approved.
Okay,
so just scratch approved and just overview.
okay, okay. Okay, moved and seconded. Any question, concern? Mr. Nelson, Councilor Nelson.
Well, thanks for the promotion, Your Worship. Look at you guys. This is just a waste of time, a waste of money. We just went on record supporting Richmond's position. I think staff have got much more important things to do than drive a red tape report that's just going to come back, which we can almost get a verbal report in the next time around. We just took a major policy statement supporting Richmond. So it was passed literally almost unanimously by this council. Now we're going to go and question our own camera system. We've got to get our head screwed on right in what we're trying to prioritize around here. So I'm not going to support another red tape report.
We're not going to legal or anything.
No, Fred.
As legal though.
Is it legal? Okay, Councilor Flaspohler, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. In all honesty, that's how I felt the flavor was from the discussion anyways. That's why I didn't insist on my recommendation going. So I appreciate Your Worship that you offered for it to come up as a late item, but in all honesty, yes, this council, other than myself, endorsed that
Appreciated the
support
mover.
to Richmond, so it doesn't
If
make
I-
sense to me either.
If I
at this
may,
point.
to cutting long story short, if council feel there's no needed, we can vote it down. Before we do that, I got Mr. Maraca, please.
I just want to reassure council and Councillor Flaspohler specifically that every camera location that we have now and going forward will go through a rigorous process of evaluation by not only Ross but myself, and we will ensure that we are doing our best to make sure we are complying with the regulations and stuff without the legal opinion. Bringing a legal report in at this time would be very time consuming, expensive, and everything like that. We don't throw cameras out at any location without a rigorous investigation. And I can assure you that that will happen with every camera, including the cameras that have been installed since 2016.
Perfect.
We are already going backwards and we're going to be looking at those. Ross watches this like a hawk as best he can to his ability and his knowledge as well as I do. So I can assure you that no matter how council votes tonight, we make sure we comply because we don't want to expose the city of Williams Lake to liabilities and legal troubles with anybody.
Yeah, awesome. I appreciate that. I really appreciate that proactive work from staff. So thank you so much. I think my main thought was on the fact if these cameras are there where it was necessary for us to have any type of notification that they were there so that public is aware that if they're in the corner of so-and-so or in a certain park area, that they could be monitored at that time. I'm just not, that was the part that I was personally questioning and wondering. So I appreciate that, Mr. Maraca. Thank you.
I've been advised it's illegal for the mover and seconder. Either we can vote down or whatever, or they can withdraw it back. It's up to you.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Okay, the mover said we can vote it down, however, council feel. I'm not saying vote it down or vote it up. It's up to you. I'll call the question, all in favor of the motion? Okay, all in favor of the motion? Hearing none, all against it? Unanimously carried. We will not proceed. And now my sincere apology. In the first month, I made a mistake. Second time, you will think I know better. I should have let you speak, which I didn't have on me. On the Chamber's week, it's just information to receive. Please go ahead, Tamara.
Thank you. It was just more of on a positive note. So on behalf of 240 member businesses, we want to thank Mayor and Council for your continued support of the Williams Lake and District Chamber of Commerce. Chamber Week is a chance to recognize the local businesses, organizations, and entrepreneurs who contribute to so much of our community every day. So we're proud to represent our members and to work alongside the city to support a strong and resilient local economy. In honor of Chamber Week, we're hosting Member Appreciation Social on February 12th, starting at 5 p.m. at the Tourism Discovery Center. And it's our small way of saying thank you to our members. And we appreciate this recognition and the ongoing partnership with the council.
We really thank you on behalf of the council, but Chamber does your president here, vice president, you are here. There's no shortage of compliments, what I get every day. Whenever I see you, I tell you every time, but the president and vice president need to hear that because I don't see them as much as I see you. Tomorrow, keep up the good work. You people are the backbone of the community because small business are the backbone. You representing the small business, big business, everybody. I meet more people when I go to Chamber of Commerce monthly meeting than I meet anywhere in that an hour and quarter of the time is there. And I'm looking forward to see you on Thursday.
Yes, you're presenting at our general meeting on Thursday. So
Yes, I guess that year-end report is coming. Councillor Bain, please, I think I see your
Oh,
hand.
sorry, I just want the information package. I can't make Thursday, but no.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, moving on, information package, Councillor Bain, moving it, somebody.
No, I want to pull something out.
Oh, you wanted to pull it out,
Not that
okay.
I want to elongate this anymore. But
And which
I
one
want to
you
pull
want to
out
pull
the
out?
orange shirt day. The orange shirt.
Orange Shirt Day, we will pull it out. After the Orange Shirt Day, everything else we received for information packages. So moved. Councillor Nelson, somebody second it? Moved and seconded, all in favor? Orange Shirt Day, Councillor Bain, please.
Thank you, Worship. Sorry, guys, I'm not trying to elongate this, and it might be through to Councillor Moses, but I just want to hear about the 10-year celebration in April. Is there any updates on that? Like, I feel like there has not been. We're almost February, and I feel like council should be there. I think that my daughter is one of, most of you probably know about this, and Councillor Moses can probably speak to this far better than me, but it is first grad class coming through that has actually had Indigenous education right from the get-go, from kindergarten, including my daughter. So I've actually booked this time off and everything, and I keep expecting to hear more in the media and everything. I just Googled even during the meeting to ensure it's still out there or saying so, but I have heard very little about it, and I think we should be the biggest voices at this table about it. So I've even mentioned at UBCM, like I've been spouting it. So I would really like to hear, and I think you're on the committee, right, Councillor Moses?
Councillor Moses, please.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, they just had a major update on it, I think about 3 days ago or so, give or take a little bit, that tickets are now available to it on Ticketmaster. So it's actually that major of an event that it's on Ticketmaster. So yeah, the gist of it, you had it about right. It's the first graduating class that when they were in kindergarten, there was an Orange Shirt Day. So now the idea is now that there should not be a generation of students after this class that will not have been familiar with results of residential schools throughout their whole schooling. Yeah, thank you, Your Worship.
Yeah, no problem. We have sent them a letter of support, as you can see. No, I know it's a separate, but I'm saying it's in the package. We have sent them a letter of support. I'm also, my office working with the Cheryl Chapman, and we're working at Councillor.
Yeah, I think what Councillor Bain is saying is we should be sending all of council to that event in April,
You betcha.
if possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Please go.
Thank you, Councillor Moses. Of course, I want us to go, but I actually want to spread the word. I guess I want to help. Like, I want to know how we get this to we've got a list of every community, and our staff could send out letters saying, this is it, like explanation. Like, I feel like Orange Shirt Society should be utilizing us perhaps and getting the word out, trying to advertise. I feel like as the community that started Orange Shirt Day, that we have the onus is on us to support this in a large way. And maybe you could support that, and we could get out information about the ticket, like somehow a letter about, not just about, of course, supporting the September 30th event, but supporting this event on April 13th. So I just would like to somehow support it more. Like, so, and I don't know if you need to take that back to the committee, or we could make a resolution to somehow advocate or get the word out to all communities, like a community letter or support for this.
Mr. Muraka had excellent idea. I think the resolution need to be on the table is that we invite Orange Shirt Society to give us an update, and then council and staff can work with them.
The next meeting.
And next meeting, we won't wait very long, next meeting. Could they do that?
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, Michael Mosen and Councillor Bain.
All right, I'll make a
Moved and
resolution
seconded.
to invite
I got
Red
it.
Shirt Society to
I
the
got
next
it.
meeting
I
if
got it.
possible.
Councillor Mosen,
Second.
yeah, Councillor Mosen and Councillor Bain, we invite Orange Shirt Society.
Give us an update
give us
and how
update
we can-
and,
yeah, perfect.
planning.
And invite
Okay,
them.
and I'll
Clarify.
make sure Cheryl Chapman is also on it because she asked some of the stuff. Okay, any discussion, hearing none, all in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried. Round table, Ms. Line.
I was just going to bring up the stuff about the BCBIA survey, and that's already been covered now, so I'm good.
Thank you. Councillor Bain. Councillor Moses.
Thank you, Your Worship. Earlier, you mentioned how we've been attending all the Williams Lake for Humanity events. There's one coming up on February 5th. Williams Lake for Humanity is co-hosting a film with the Williams Lake Film Club right at Paradise Cinema, a show called The Voice of Hind Rajab. The last 5 or so Williams Lake Film Clubs all sold out, so I'd make sure to go get your tickets tomorrow at the Open Book.
Hey, could you please message me or could you arrange the ticket for me? I may forget. I'm pretty busy tomorrow.
Yeah.
I have so many meetings. I'll pay you, get the ticket
Yeah,
for me.
anyone else want one?
I'll get one, please.
Thank you, Your
Councillor Nelson.
Thank you very much, Your Worship. I just wanted to acknowledge the former Escamic chief, Charlene Ballou, a lifelong advocate for
Yes.
truth and reconciliation, has been announced the recipient of the British
Yes.
Columbia Reconciliation Award. Just wanted to give a huge shout out and thanks for her tireless, lifelong work that she's done to create the awareness and to create a positive change.
Yes, thank you. Well done, Councillor Flaspohler.
Nothing from me, thank you.
I'll be in big trouble if I didn't say this. I would like to, it's personal, like to recognize my wife, putting up with me for 51 years.
I'll second that.
Just imagine anybody have to put up with 51 years with me, how brave the person would be, especially when I'm never home. Sometimes she have to ask me, you want me to cook the dinner? Did you cook something, sir? You never told me. So we had 51 anniversary yesterday. It was a great. I was happy to be back home.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I especially wanted to recognize to 700 plus people. I wasn't going to, it's about 21 hours. I posted last night to make her happy. And I usually don't put personal things on the Facebook. And almost 700 people liked it or commented 400 something. Yeah, I couldn't keep up with that replying and answer anybody. If I didn't answer to you, if somebody sent me and my wife best wishes, I'm sorry, it's due to the time. But thank you very much. Everybody's love and respect and affection with me and my family, given me the honor to sit here and do this work and lead the community. I would not say me, but I'll tell you, everyone, this council could not push hard for every issue we are dealing. We cannot speak hard enough, push enough to the Premier, to the Prime Minister's office. This council is working very hard for you. I'm one of the council member, maybe the driver on the seat, or driver's seat, but the mayor and council is doing the best as we can do for our community. And please keep your blessing with us, and hopefully we can do much better. We have achieved lots in 38 months, 39 months gone on, but we have a long way to go yet. And the community is hearing, seeing everything. It's self-praise, no recommendation. My colleagues, council member, and the CEO, other economic development manager, any other manager go with me, with us to meet any authorities. They can verify how we are pushing hard. We may have made a million mistakes, and if we don't do anything, we're not going to make any mistake. And we are doing the best I can. Wednesday, I ended up in the hospital in Prince George, running around doing things and black ice, and I had small, what you call the rocks and chips went to my hand and knee. I ended up on the hospital. That's how hard we are working, because I did not want to miss a meeting, any meeting. I wanted to come to my hotel in 20 minutes and take my medication, which I forget it to take in the morning. I was so excited and worried and planning in my mind how I'm going to address it, how are we going to do this. Talking to the premier, we did whatever we could, and I hope, sincerely I hope, Victoria would help us. If they didn't, they will be in trouble from me and my office and from this council. There's no question about that. So hearing that, and that's from me. Mr. Maraca, please.
Yeah, no, thanks, Worship. I think that acknowledging Sharon for putting up with you for all these years is kind of essential, not to mention how good her pakora is as well. I think we have to acknowledge that as well. Other than that, I have got nothing for tonight.
Well, I'll tell you guys, this guy touched me so much. I was, I don't know where the heck I was. I wasn't home, and he came home on the weekend, I think. He didn't go to Kamloops. He had a couple of weeks off, and he left a best wishes card with me. And I won't share with you the note he left it in it. And it was heart-warming and touching. You know, thank you very much, Mr. Maraca. I really appreciate it. The relation, how we're working, your leadership for this community, it's noticed. Thank you. I appreciate it. And Mr. Coupe, please. Anything, has to be something from the public works yard.
He's not allowed to talk your way.
Oh, he's not allowed. Hey, what about CFO?
Neither is he.
Oh, man. Anything from James? Thank you. Anything from media, please? Thank you. Anything from the public gallery? Thank you very much. We appreciate it. There's in-camera quick 2-minute meeting. Please go ahead, sir.
Just a motion to close the meeting as per section 91K.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Motion to adjourn the regular meeting.
So moved.
Moved and seconded. All in favor? Thank you very much, folks. And Rebecca, thank you for putting us so long.